It's a little early for Halloween, Simmons.
Where you're going, every day's Halloween.
Hello and welcome to Comic Book Movie Oblivion, the podcast about feature films based on comic books and comic strips that people have stopped talking about. We're your hosts, Jordan and Kumar, that's me.
And me.
And this week we're talking about Spawn from 1997.
Same month that Steel came out.
Yeah.
But before.
Right.
So earlier that month.
Okay.
So Steel came out slightly afterwards. So Steel is not the first major motion picture to have a black superhero lead based on a comic book. So I think there was an Eddie Murphy film, The Meteor Man, before this.
That was not Eddie Murphy. That was Robert Townsend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's embarrassing.
I could have that wrong myself.
Anyway, so The Meteor Man.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count because it's not based on an actual comic book.
Yeah.
It's just comic book-esque.
Yes.
It's on the cheat list, for example.
Yeah.
So this is the first, but not the last, film to have a black superhero in the lead in the late 1990s.
Wait a second. When was Blank Man? Let's look that up. 1994.
Oh, Blank Man as well. So there are some others, but they don't really count because they're not proper, at least as far as this
they're
podcast.
not adaptations.
As long as this podcast is concerned.
Yes. Okay. Well, I did a little bit of looking up, and Faust, the comic book, started in 1988, and the movie came out in 2000. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we...
Well, we've done Faust, and boy, I was reminded of Faust a lot.
Yes.
Reading the comics.
Yes.
This week.
Yeah, and reading the comics especially, I was like, oh man, Tim Vigil was like ripping this off, and then I just looked it up, it was 88, and it was like...
Nope, McFarlane's ripping him off.
Of course he is. Of course. Well, why would we think he could come up with something? Why? How did I let myself fall into that trap? Just like I did in 1992 when I bought this comic off the shelves.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to have a little bit of a deep dive like we did with Valiant and Death of Superman.
This is one of the stories of the comic book industry.
Yeah.
One of the great rises and falls.
I don't know if it's really a fall, but we'll talk about it.
It's one of the cautionary tales of becoming your antithesis.
Yes, I think that's true. I think that part of it is totally true. So basically, what happened was around 1990, a set of artists at Marvel started to really become super popular. Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, and Jim Lee, especially, these three guys. I was a fan of Jim Lee because he had done a run on Punisher War Journal when he was just starting out at Marvel. And I was like, whoa, this guy's drawings are really cool. And he got shuttled off onto an X-Men title pretty quickly, and then he became a real superstar. And the same thing happened with Whilce Portacio. Whilce was a Punisher artist, and then in fact, his Punisher stuff was the stuff that got me into the Punisher in the first place. We probably wouldn't be having this podcast if it wasn't for the Whilce Portacio run on the Punisher, where he shot that grappling hook through a guy's chest from across the road and then swung across to that building in Punisher number 14 or 15. And he got shuttled off onto an X-Men title. And then he was one of the 7 Image founders, and we'll get to that in a minute. So these three guys started selling millions of copies.
Yep.
They started going up into the hundreds of thousands. And then Marvel said, okay, Rob Liefeld, you can have your own title. We're going to have a new X-Men #1, Jim Lee. Todd McFarlane was drawing Spider-Man at the time. He had created Venom.
Yes.
He designed that character. The look of the character, not the concept behind it. And he was on Spider-Man. They're like, we're going to start with a new Spider-Man #1. So Rob Liefeld was on X-Force. No, he was on New Mutants.
Okay.
And then that got rebooted. He got his own title called X-Force. So we had 3 #1s, X-Force, X-Men, and Spider-Man #1s. And these all got orders in the millions.
Yeah.
Now, these are slightly artificial millions because like X-Men #1 supposedly sold 10 million, had 6 different covers. X-Force #1 had 6, came in sealed bags with one of 6 trading cards inside. So there were 6 versions of that. Spider-Man had like 5 different covers. It had like a black cover. It had like one that was pre-bagged. It had all these different versions. Now, all these guys, these 3 mostly, were basically aping the style of this artist who had become popular through the 80s named Michael Golden, who had a very highly detailed style that was like heavily rendered, really defined lines, and they were aping him, some better than others. Jim Lee was probably the closest to that style.
Right.
McFarlane had his own weird thing going on with like weird faces and poses and stuff. He was in his own little world. He developed his own style.
Oh, yeah.
Liefeld was like the worst imitator. Like he tried to draw like Michael Golden, but just couldn't. There was just no. He was just throwing lines in there that just meant nothing. Just random cross hatching instead of drawing. Couldn't draw feet for the life of him. Could not draw human anatomy for the life of him.
We haven't discussed Liefeld much on the podcast, but his art is hilarious.
It's hilarious and terrible. Maybe one of the worst. He was like. I guess like that Rob Schneider. Like, how is this guy working? Like, how is this guy getting the lead roles in movies and stuff?
Amazing. Well, if you close your eyes and think of extreme 90s, you're probably getting extreme 90s comic books. You're probably getting a kind of Liefeldian image appearing in your brain.
Yeah,
like guys. Ridiculous musculature, completely absurd proportions.
Yeah, women with tiny waists. And usually were twisted around so you could see their boobs and their butts at the same time.
Yeah, the famous Brokeback pose.
Yeah.
Huge guns that don't have any...
That's right.
That don't do anything.
And especially with Liefeld, the perspective is all wrong. Yeah. Like, it's like an Escher or something where, like, it's like the staircases don't line up. Like, how's this guy holding this gun in his hand with his other arm's twisted around this way?
And pouches.
Pouches, yeah. Pouches. Just
he could add a pouch to anything.
But these
guys would have thousands of pouches.
It was all style. But somehow, as the zeitgeist of the kids at that time liked that.
Yep.
Now, a very important thing happened because these guys were selling millions of comics, especially when they launched those new #1s. They suddenly had what we could call commercial power or industrial power for the first time. Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko couldn't walk away from Marvel and start their own company and sell millions of comics. These guys could suddenly walk away and actually hurt Marvel in a way that they were most concerned about, which is the number of dollars that were coming in every month from these guys' comics.
Yep.
And they felt they were being treated poorly by Marvel, which has been, back to the 60s.
Which they were, yes.
They were being treated. They weren't being paid a fair amount for the amount of money they were bringing into these companies. And all those images, not just on the comics, but on the t-shirts and the pajamas and everything else.
Yep.
They were not. This is why 4 years earlier, Alan Moore had. This is going to be the first ring. Alan Moore had left DC. Frank Miller had left these companies. He was like, screw these guys. And the second major factor here is that there was a lot of editorial interference.
Right.
Which also, Alan Moore was like, what do you know about my work? Stay out of it. Keep your hands out of it. Frank Miller, get out of it. Stay out of it. And these guys were like, these guys keep complaining about how I'm drawing Spider-Man. Screw this.
Yep. McFarlane is responsible for a lot of things that have become iconic about the Spider-Man character since the 80s. So Spider-Man used to have little eyes. Now his eyes are really big and take up most of his face. I think that's McFarlane invention. The rubbery webs.
Well, that's interesting you should mention that, because everybody says McFarlane invented those crazy webs. I remember the first time I saw them, I was like, what is this? It looks like a string is shooting out, but then like another string is winding around it very randomly.
McFarlane himself calls it spaghetti webbing.
Spaghetti webs, invented by Michael Golden. He was the first one.
I figured that's where you were going with that. McFarlane did that famous cover, the famous Spider-Man cover, where he's sort of crouching.
Yeah, that's the Spider-Man #1 cover.
Yes, and it's got spiders all over it and looks really cool.
Yeah.
And also the webbing in his underarms.
Yes. No, but that was there from the Ditko days.
Was it?
And then it disappeared. Like, they stopped it.
So he brought it back.
They kind of forgot about it, and he brought it back. And that probably this is maybe the kind of stuff that editorial was complaining about, but actually the kids loved it. Yeah. I loved it.
This is what, in the Comic Books Journal interview, which you made me read, and McFarlane, what a guy. But he's saying this. He's parroting the voice of his editors. Stop drawing spaghetti webbing. Stop making Spider-Man's eyes so big. Stop putting webs in his underarms. But this is what, like you pointed out, this is what people liked. And it's still, now, McFarlane points out that now kids are being badgered by, or at least in the 90s when he was doing this interview, now kids are being badgered to draw Spider-Man like McFarlane.
Yes, yeah. Young artists have to draw it like McFarlane. They can't draw it in the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Okay, so these 3 guys, plus 4 others, Will Spartaccio, who I mentioned, Mark Silvestri, Eric Larson, and Jim Valentino all leave to form this new company called Image Comics around 1991, 1992. Larson ends up becoming the head of Image, like the CEO, basically.
Yep.
Jim Valentino was a weird choice in there. I believe his early stuff was kind of like memoir comics. But basically they start putting out their own edgy, extreme superhero books, all of them. This is all they can think of. They don't have any other ideas in their heads. Jim Valentino's Shadowhawk is this character that goes around breaking characters' spines. And the big twist on this, they're really like Stan Lee type, you got one thing.
Yeah.
And his twist was he had AIDS. He had HIV. That was it.
It's not the last time AIDS will be mentioned in this episode either.
And, you know, these guys thought it's really interesting how big they thought they were, or how smart they thought they were. How they thought they had good ideas. They thought they were good writers. McFarlane had this thing in Spawn, where Spawn is this character that dies and comes back from the dead. He's kind of a zombie. He's got like this corpse flesh all over him.
Yep.
But he can use his powers to remake his flesh. He was a black man, but when he remakes his flesh, one of the curses that the devil gave him is he comes back with white, Caucasian skin. And I remember seeing out Todd McFarlane in interviews saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna explore this. Like, who are you to address this question?"
Todd McFarlane is a white guy, in case that's not
Have
clear.
you ever written a comic in your life? First of all, like, do you have any experience with any of this? That you're the one to be dropping the commentary on this?
It's crazy.
Did Valentino know anybody with HIV? I don't know. So weird. Just these weird.
It's just edgy.
Here's my take on this. Here's the twist. And also Shadowhawk's other twist is that nobody knew his secret identity. And it was like revealed, and then there were like a few different ones. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The other big thing that happened was these guys were very independent in the strictest sense of the word. They had no company behind them. Now they had no editorial. All the money they were making was coming back into their own pockets. Great, that's exactly what they wanted. They're putting out comics. The first couple from each of these guys selling like 1 million copies, and they didn't have multiple covers. It was just like 1 million raw copies of Spawn #1 have gone out.
I think, I don't have the exact figures, but I think Spawn is still the best-selling independent comic.
Right,
of all
I
time.
believe it. I absolutely believe it. Were people buying 2, 1 to bag and 1 to read? Maybe.
This is the 90s,
It
so
is
they
the
probably
90s,
were.
very much so.
This is the Tulip Mania.
This isn't Shonen Jump where people are reading it and then dumping it in the recycling or leaving it on the train.
Leaving it at the laundromat.
Yeah. This is not how these things are getting read. The thing that happens is most of these comics aren't coming out. Youngblood, I think, had 16 issues over about 5 years or something like that. They were just coming out very sporadically.
Yeah, well, when you don't have an editorial team,
there's no
a marketing team.
There's no one else doing the sales work for you. You're handling your own sales. There was a while. Jim Lee had this series called Wildcats. He had a cartoon out pretty soon, within year 1 or 2. So he's got to be sitting in these meetings, paying these deals. He doesn't have time to be
writing comics,
writing or drawing a
comics.
comic book, especially the way he drew, which was highly detailed and all the little lines and stuff. Even he had the inker, Scott Williams, I think. But even then, it was like, just, you can't do this. Now, one of the kind of models of this was Dave Sim of Cerebus the Art Firm. Dave Sim's system was he would put out the comic 1 month, he would put out 6 a year, alternating months, and then 1 month would be admin and marketing and all that stuff, and then 1 month the comic would come out, and that's how.
And then the third month he'd beat his wife.
Yeah, something terrible like that. I don't know if he was ever accused.
No, that's just a joke. I don't know if he was ever accused of that.
No. Okay, so they kind of got what they wanted, but the cost was that they weren't actually really producing that many comics, and the other cost was that the comics were terrible. Awful. Unreadable. Just junk. Total... The most diluted... I've got a great quote from Alan Moore, which I'm going to read.
Brilliant.
So in the same issue of the Comics Journal, in 92, this is the August 1992 issue of the Comics Journal, number 152, there's a very long interview between Gary Groth and Todd McFarlane.
Yep, I read it, well, most of it anyway.
Where it's one of the most fascinating, frustrating interviews where Groth is trying to get some semblance of, like, what is this guy's perspective on art? And McFarlane's like, why should I bother trying to improve? The kids won't care.
He just contradicts himself
all the time.
All the time. He's deeply unserious thinker.
Yeah.
He'll say one thing, and then Groth will press him on it, and then he'll just turn around and say the exact opposite.
Yes. He was like, I agree with you, Gary, or something like that. He'll just give up.
So infuriating.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. And Gary's like, don't you want your art to improve or something? He's like, well, the kids won't care, so why should I, it's...
He'll say something like, well, I've sold 1 million copies of Spawn.
Yeah.
This is what you can do. Like, I can sell 1 million copies and I'm a genius. And then Groth is like, yeah, but you wouldn't have sold 1 million copies if you hadn't worked at Marvel.
Yeah.
You understand that, right? They gave you a pre-existing character, Spider-Man, and you got to take advantage of them and publish all that. And he goes, no, I still would have sold billions of copies. And Groth's like, are you sure? And McFarlane's like, yeah, maybe not, maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sell millions of copies. I just want to sell 5,000. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just a minute ago you were bragging about how you sold millions of copies.
And in fact, based on that number of wanting to sell 5,000, he says in that interview, all I care about is drawing comics. That's not true. Within a couple of years, he had farmed out the book.
He doesn't even
Every
draw
one
comics.
of these guys, not one of these guys, except for Eric Larson, who's consistently drawn Savage Dragon for 35 years or whatever. None of these guys stuck with it. They all ended up hiring people to write and draw their comics. So they became the editors.
The new bosses.
They became the abusers, just like they had been abused.
Exactly. It's so funny.
And they became the bosses, and there was all sorts of rights issues, especially when it came to Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman. They were like, we did this work for you. And there were never any contracts. They were like, hey, we're going to treat you fairly because we're artists, and we're not like Marvel. We're not corporations.
Yeah.
We're going to treat you fairly.
In case that's not clear, this was going to be the utopia for comic book artists.
Yes.
And comic book artist writers. They were going to own all their own characters.
Yeah.
They were going to get 100% of the revenues from their comic book
and
sold.
And they were going to treat people fairly.
It was going to be egalitarian.
Yeah.
And just like, it's like Animal Farm.
Yeah.
These guys...
Yes. yes, exactly.
These guys just, at each point, they just keep clawing back.
Rob Liefeld had either quit or been fired by 1996 or so.
Yep.
He was out. You can totally see
I get that, but that's not what it was supposed to be about.
No, and you can see the attraction for Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman, Frank Miller, all these guys were coming in and doing stuff. Keith Giffen did a series called Trencher there because... they owned the work, but these guys were also, the Image 7 it was punk rock. They had said, screw the corporation, gone off on their own. That's exactly what all these guys had wanted to do for years. All the old timers were like, this is what we wanted.
Yep.
And of course they were attracted, and they were offering huge paychecks. Alan Moore was being paid tens of thousands of dollars for each issue he was writing. He was paying that money forward to Eddie Campbell and Melinda Gebbie to draw Lost Girls and From Hell. He was keeping all that stuff financed through this work. Okay, so in that issue, there's also an interview with Alan Moore in that same issue, talking about From Hell and all this stuff.
Comic Journal,
in the Comics Journal.
Yep.
And Gary Groth says, have you read this Image stuff? And Alan Moore's like, I haven't seen it. And he's like, okay. Gary's like, I'll send you some. So there's a postscript to the interview after Alan Moore has read this stuff, which is so good. And it says, postscript, we sent more copies of the first issues of Youngblood, Spawn, and Savage Dragon. Following is his reaction to seeing those books. Having read a brief sampling of the Image line, I must say first off that I don't find them to be any worse or more upsetting than the standard mainstream superhero book. That said, I do detect a difference, a progression, if you will, from all the mainstream books of several years ago, which I am more familiar with. To make a chemical analogy, a classic superhero book like Plastic Man or Captain Marvel might be viewed as something like the coca leaf, not terribly exciting as drugs go, and yet intensely stimulating and above all harmless, thanks to certain alkalis that balance out the drug's more negative effects. In comics terms, these alkalis are plot, imagination, character, and things like that. Refine the coca leaf, remove those alkalis, and you will have cocaine. The rush is stronger, but it's harsher too, and does more damage. This would be, in comic terms, the superhero books proliferating in the 70s and 80s, geared to constant, breathless action, with the storyline now merely something that's designed to get you from one fight scene to the next. A wild amphetamine toboggan ride. Refine cocaine and you are left with crack. I stress that this is not a social metaphor, but merely chemical. I wouldn't for a moment think to even half suggest that modern comic books might be comparable in their adverse effects to Class 1 drugs. I only seek to call attention to a process of refinement that has been perhaps inevitable all along. The audience, no doubt, will make up its mind and will just say no or yo to drugs as it sees fit. So basically,
despite his qualifications, yeah,
this is like the
this crack
is
cocaine.
This is crack of comics.
Just violence and
absolutely violence
and tits.
Yeah,
you know, like even issue 8 that Alan Moore, was it issue 8 or issue 7? Issue 8 that Alan Moore wrote, McFarlane drew it, and we've got characters wandering around hell, and one of them's this super hot babe, wearing a rag.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, what's what?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
And she's doing like the Brokeback, like a Liefeld Brokeback pose in one panel.
She's like Raquel Welch and what was
in 10,000 BC.
Yeah, or 50-foot woman who was in that. Anyway, it looks like that. Very much so.
Unbelievable.
But it's kind of, you can see that Alan Moore came in there and was like, oh, Todd McFarlane draws like this. I bet he would be good at drawing some like demonic hell stuff, and just did this whole issue.
Well, yeah, because Alan Moore ends up writing for this crack magazine.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So, yes, don't...
and Alan Moore was hired by all these guys because they're just so was young. I mean, he did an excellent run on a character called Supreme, which was a Rob Liefeld Superman knockoff. He did like 20 issues. That was great. He did a run on Wildcats, which is not bad. Jim Lee's Wildcats. But by 1996, Lee and Liefeld went back to Marvel to do a series called Heroes Reborn. So if you've seen the terrible Captain America drawings by Rob Liefeld. There's also
where his chest is like this barrel.
Not even the chest one. There's a cover of #1 where the shield is like warped, like that animated shield is all like
it's terrible.
This weird, terrible shit. That was all from that era of them going back to Marvel for whatever stupid reason. And now Jim Lee is the creative head at DC Comics.
Incredible for a guy that quit Marvel
being like creative rights.
Screw you, creative rights, solidarity.
Yeah.
We're all going to be paid equal.
Yeah.
Now he's the head of creative direction at DC. A crazy turnaround.
Yeah.
Really, some animals are more equal than others.
Yes. Yeah, 4 legs are good, 2 legs better. Absolutely. That's what it all boils down to. Really crazy. I don't know if any of these other titles, like Silvestri had a series called Cyber Force. What was Portacio's series? Wetworks. Almost, they would do 1 or 2 issues at the beginning, and I hardly think they would maybe do covers or something like that, and that was kind of about the size of it. All right, so let's go down to the...
Let's start talking about the comic. I mean, to Spawn specifically. Yeah, we've mentioned it briefly. He's a little like Faust.
Yeah. So he's this guy who was a... Hitman, like a Wetworks.
A paid assassin for the CIA or for the government.
Well, it's interesting because in the first page we hear these news reports about how this guy stopped the Hinckley attempted assassination on Reagan, which would mean he's in the Secret Service, but then in the next sentence he's doing black ops in other countries. I don't think
McFarlane doesn't really know
McFarlane's Canadian. Maybe he doesn't know how these things are structured. I don't know. He's like, this same guy could be doing these 2 different jobs.
Why not? He's just that good. But I think very quickly McFarlane stops giving us stuff about Al Simmons' origins because he doesn't even care who killed him eventually, which we'll get to.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Another thing about this, when this series came out, I read up to about issue 4.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to it when it came out.
Sure.
And at issue 4 I was like, done. I was like, I just can't handle this anymore. And we'll talk about all the whys of that or whatnot. I came back when he did the 4 special issues, which were written by Frank Miller, Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Dave Sim, I read those 4. I read all of the Alan Moore series. He did a couple of miniseries of Violator and stuff like that. I read all that stuff. But I stopped at 4, and then this week when I tried to read it again, I thought I'll try to get to number 4 again. I could only get to 3. I just could not stomach it. It was so boring and chaotic and bland, and in a sense it's... I mean, I got what I asked for, because in a sense, I would prefer to see a single writer-artist and try to get into that artist's head, that creator's head, through their art, to understand their thoughts about art or life or anything like that. And, yeah.
Sorry, I just opened it to the exact page I was talking about.
And now we've got it, but these guys, there's no discipline. There's no real craft beyond trying to make something look cool. It's rule of cool, absolutely. So this guy, Al Simmons, has died. We learn about his funeral. But it actually starts with, like, this amnesiac superhero brooding on rooftops. And slowly we learned that this guy was this special ops guy named Al Simmons, who had died 5 years earlier. He's lost his memories, but he made some sort of deal with the devil to come back. The devil's called Malbolgia in this version. He's made some sort of deal to come back to Earth immediately, but the devil twisted the deal. So he came back 5 years later. He doesn't have his memories.
And he's horribly disfigured.
Yes. And when he tries to remake his skin, he doesn't look like he used to.
And he has powers that he didn't ask for.
That's right.
So he's really, like, he's out angry.
Yes.
Where it's like, well, you know, you did a deal with the literal devil.
Yeah.
He wanted to see his wife again. He said, I'll sell you my soul if you let me see my wife again. And the devil, Malbolgia, is like, done.
Yeah.
But instead of seeing his wife, he just pops back on Earth 5 years later with weird powers and crispy skin.
Yeah.
And he's understandably confused.
Yeah. Question, what are his powers?
We never really
don't know in this or in the movie version. That's 3 issues in. Maybe these things are defined a little bit later on. There is an Alan Moore series called Blood Feud, which kind of goes a lot into the suit, which is this living creature.
Yeah.
I tried to read some of that this week, and just couldn't get past the Tony Daniel art, which was terrible.
Wow.
I was like, I haven't read Blood Feud since 1993 or 4. I'll give it a read this week, and I can't do it.
Wow, not even the writing was enough, huh?
No,
wow.
There was a little bit in there, but just that all these guys were trying to ape. I mean, or Todd McFarlane was hiring people that drew like him or told them to draw like him, which is what his editors at Marvel were doing to him.
He was so
draw
angry
like
about.
This guy. Amazing. Also, the problem here is that the vacuum that was left at Marvel by those guys meant Marvel was trying to hire not ready for pro work artists who were told or were already aping Rob Liefeld.
Yes.
So if you think how Rob Liefeld is, now imagine a worse Rob Liefeld. Yes. Imagine a guy who's 17, 18 years old, just has been drawing like Rob Liefeld in his notebooks.
Yep.
Comes to Marvel, they're like, great, we need a guy that can't draw feet. You're on X-Force, kid.
That's why it all that art from the 90s looks like Rob Liefeld's art.
Oh, it's terrible. It's all those comics are unreal. You can't even look at the covers. They're just so awful. So I couldn't even read Blood Feud. Anyway, so we don't really know what this guy's powers are, really.
And they never do.
But there was an interesting thing I thought was there's a kind of countdown timer. There's a limit on his powers. Once they run down to 0, we see this kind of clock. He ends up getting sucked back to hell to go through some sort of test of some sort. This is a little bit delineated in the Neil Gaiman issue.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman's the one that kind of ties it all together.
Oh, they all do. All the hell stuff was, all the stuff about the living suit, a lot of that was...
It's Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman come in issues 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Yep. And just tighten up all this stuff that Todd McFarlane's just been blurting out.
But also, by the way, there was a Batman vs. Spawn crossover, 2 in there, written by Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And at the end of that first one, there's a batarang stuck in Spawn's face. Like, Batman is throwing a batarang in his face. That's like the last page of the issue. Every issue of Spawn after that, his face is split in half with like these stitches between it. He can never reprint that Batman issue because he doesn't know Batman. But there's like this never explained... If you're reading the trade paperbacks, you're like, why does he suddenly have this split in the middle of his head? Just chaotic.
Such nonsense.
Just absolute chaos, these comics.
Todd McFarlane doesn't know what Spawn's powers are supposed to be, but he likes the idea of making them up as he goes along, a bit like Silver Age Superman. So
yeah, in a sense, I like it. I like it. In the journal interview, he's like, I want to draw a tall guy, I want to draw a clown, I want to draw this, that. He draws it. He just draws it. There's no one telling him what to do. But the problem is there's no self-discipline. There's no consideration of, is this the kind of comic he wants to read? I'm not sure. You know, that should be your primary thing, is create the art that you want to see. I don't know if he could go back and... Maybe he is still proud of these. I don't know.
Who knows? And he's thrown some stuff... Well, he doesn't do a lot of writing anymore, does he? Well, he certainly doesn't do drawing.
I think he's plotting. He's still plotting, I think.
I know he mostly just makes money.
Yeah. Well, he went off and he formed
the toy
company, which is cool. Like, he makes great toys, and he knew that were not these high-end toys on the market, and he found this niche, and he created these toys, and they're cool action figures.
Now they're like the industry standard.
Yeah, and initially they were called Todd Toys, which he got sued for, because there was a line of the Barbie line, there was a Todd character, and they're like, you can't do it, and I sued him. He did this all the time. He would just do something and get sued. He created a character called Tony Twist. He named all these characters after hockey players, and there's this gangster called Tony Twist, and I believe I might be slightly wrong about this, Tony Twist sued him for defamation, which I thought this was a nuisance suit at the time, but he won. And he had to pay millions of dollars to this guy. Because he could prove that they had the receipts. He had sold millions of copies of Spawn.
Yeah.
So if he sold 5,000, he would have been fine.
But instead, he did it.
Oh, he was doing all this really seat of your pants kind of stuff. Just thought he could do whatever he wanted.
Well, exactly. Well, later on we'll get to Eclipse Comics and Miracle Man, because we have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah. Yes, so this guy dies, he comes back to life, he's got this magical suit, which big flowing cape.
Well, he's got a costume, and
later
on we later find out that the costume is a bit like the Venom symbiote, really.
That's right. Yeah.
And it has its own... I'm not sure. It doesn't really seem... It can shapeshift.
Yes.
It can manifest things. Or is that the suit, or is that his power? I didn't read far enough for any of this to get really firmed
I don't even think it really happens. I think it's more of a thing in the movie. I'm not sure it happens that much in the comic, that he, can change shape into different things.
He can definitely shape... The Hellspawn can shapeshift, according to Game.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But that might not be because the Hellspawn is what Al Simmons is.
Yeah.
His suit is something else.
Yeah, that's right. The neurotransmitter.
Neuroparasite.
Parasite, yeah.
That's what... yeah. And it later turns out that anyone that dies and goes to the 8th Circle of Hell, Malbolgia, which is also the name of the devil that controls the 8th Circle of Hell, which is a bit...
There's two different Malbolgi or something. There is a differentiation.
Okay, there's a slight difference. So this is the one Alan Moore wrote too. Everybody that goes to that Circle of Hell gets a neural parasite, and they all look like Spawn.
Yes.
So Hell is full of Spawn.
Yes.
Guys wearing Spawn outfits.
Yes.
Great. Which is basically a cartoon, a superhero costume that Todd McFarlane drew when he was a teenager, and kind of reworked when he started this comics line, when he started Image.
The 8th sphere is called Malabolgia. The Malabolgia. G-E.
That, I think, is straight out of Dante, actually, if I remember correctly.
Right. Okay, so we learned also that his death was due to some betrayal by this guy named Wynn, some CIA director or something named Wynn, this shadowy figure that we don't get much of in the first 3 issues anyway. None of that's really unpacked. He had this friend, what's the friend's name? Terry. Is that his name in the comic as well?
Yeah.
He ended up marrying Al's wife, Wanda, in the 5 years since he passed away.
The wife that he wanted to...
That's the whole reason he came back, was he missed Wanda so much, which is, by the way, the name of Todd McFarlane's wife. No surprise here.
He's just throwing shit out. You know, he's thrown out this timer, he's thrown out all this stuff 5 years, and later on, people like Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman have to come in and kind of tidy it up and build a kind of a narrative out of it.
Yeah. So, in the time he's been away, Wanda has married Terry. They're very happily married. They also have a kid.
Yes.
Which is something that Wanda always wanted, and they couldn't have a kid before, and now he realized it was... his swimmers. It wasn't her. And that's a big shock for him.
Yep.
There's a hilarious line of dialogue too where he says, I can't interfere with their marriage now. It would be unethical. The word he uses is unethical. just
It doesn't.
weird.
This guy
choice.
was like a murderer for hire. Of like,
Yeah.
He was like the guy from Red.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's bizarre. Like Malvolger has this catch. Todd McFarlane's decided he thinks he's being clever. It all comes to do with the countdown. What Malvolger does is he finds these extraordinary mortals. Then when they die, he offers them this bargain. Then they go back, but it's a big game because he gives them these powers and a limited amount of energy with which to use them. And then they either exhaust themselves doing good
Yeah.
or do nothing and let evil proliferate. And either way, Malvolger gets what he wants.
Yeah.
Except that doesn't make sense.
Well, I think there was a line about this in Neil Gaiman where it did make a little bit of sense. Where
Neil Gaiman's tried to fix it.
You go back to hell,
Yeah.
and then you have to go through this test, and then you either
Yes.
are eaten by the other demons,
Yes.
or you become.
Yeah, Nick Gaiman tried to fix it. Yep.
And Gaiman also said there's like maybe one spawn every 100 years or so.
Yes,
will
that's
show
right.
up. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he invents a character called Medieval Spawn, which
Yes.
is Spawn on a horse.
Yes, which Todd McFarlane was like, I own this. And Neil Gaiman was like, that's not how you said
That's
creator
not how
rights
Image
work.
works.
You said that creators own what they create. He's like, you just called a guy medieval. You didn't create this. And years of court over this.
And also Cogliostro, the old man Obi-Wan character, which also appears in that issue, and Angela, the fierce kind of like
she's a bad girl, quote unquote, 90s bad girl.
Yeah.
Because she's running around in like a steel bikini type gear.
But she's an angel, so
But she's an angel.
It's like the
slayer.
idea that like one extreme is as bad as another. Like she's as bad as a demon from hell.
By the way, the Angela character is now a Marvel character. Due to the various machinations of this.
Well,
I'm sure Todd is really upset about this.
He's pissed off.
He was very upset about this whole trial and that he lost.
Yeah.
And he lost every appeal. Because I think it went back more than once, but he kept losing the rights to Angela, Cogliostro. These are all owned by Gaiman.
Yes.
And he had to pay Gaiman. He believed he shouldn't have paid Gaiman, especially for Medieval Spawn.
It's just Spawn on a horse. I mean, I get that.
They ended up with this trade because...
Yes. This is where we can mention Miracle Man.
Right.
So, when Eclipse Comics, which had been publishing Marvel Man, Miracle Man in the late 80s, went bankrupt, Todd McFarlane bought all of their...
Everything,
all their assets, all their characters, everything.
Yeah.
Which maybe included Marvel Man.
Oh yeah, because the rights about that were very
so tangled. There's an entire book about it.
Yeah. Poison Chalice by Patrick O'Malley.
It's a really good deep dive into it.
Yeah.
I mean, long story short, Eclipse renamed Marvel Man to Miracle Man, and now Todd McFarlane is saying, I own Miracle Man. He starts making toys of it.
Yeah.
This is a character that Alan Moore did some amazing work on in the 80s.
Yeah.
Gaiman and Moore would very much like it if Todd McFarlane did not own this character, and in fact shouldn't own this character. Gaiman especially wanted to keep writing stuff for it, I believe. Anyway, as you were about to say, what eventually happened after Todd McFarlane lost court case after court case about these three characters, Gaiman offered him like a trade. He said, like, I'll give you back those three characters if you give Miracle Man to me.
No, it's the other way. He wanted Angela... Todd wanted Angela Cogliostro from Medieval Spawn.
Yes, that's it.
And Neil Gaiman gets Miracle.
That's what
Yes,
that's what I meant. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
If that was confusing, that's what I meant. And that's what happened in the end.
Yes, and then Gaiman tried to get Miracle Man back on his feet at Marvel. As part of that deal, somehow Angela ended up at Marvel. Maybe he didn't get Angela back.
Yeah, how did Angela end up at Marvel then?
Angela ended up as a Marvel character.
Does Patrick have an index?
Yeah.
I don't think he does. Damn.
Yeah.
Too bad. Put an index in your book, Patrick.
Yes, so there's that whole mess. Okay, so we've got Jason Wynn, who's the CIA head who's killed him somehow. Now, meanwhile, there's this clown, psycho fat clown character, the short fat clown.
He's about 3 feet tall and he has
going around
4 fingers.
killing mafia people for some reason. Well, it's never explained why in the first 3 issues, why he's targeting these guys specifically.
Nah, it's just Todd McFarlane thinks it's cool. It's cool that some guy's going around ripping the hearts out of mafioso.
Yes.
And mafiosos. And then Spawn ends up getting blamed for it.
Oh, maybe that was...
Well, maybe that was the plan, but then Malebolgia goes off on the clown for doing that, like he wasn't meant to be doing that.
The clown is actually this demon called the Violator. He can morph into his true demon form, which is this weird skinny thing, which big head,
tiny body,
venom jaws. Obviously, this is the kind of thing that Todd McFarlane draws.
That's what he wants to draw.
He likes to draw. Great. Draw what you like to draw. That's what we're working for ourselves for. Fine. And he likes drawing this little squat clown guy. Fine.
Yeah.
Great. He wants to make them both the same character. Fine. All good. Why is he doing these things? We don't know.
No.
And it's forcing me to drop this book at issue 4. I'm like, I can't keep reading this because nothing's happening. People are just talking. Spawn goes back and tries to meet Wanda again. He's morphed back into his Caucasian form. And he tries to go meet him. She's very happily married to this guy, has the kid, as I mentioned. Very badly written scene here where he faints or something on the doorstep when he sees what's happened, and then Terry brings him into the house and starts having a heart-to-heart with this stranger that passed out on his doorstep about, finding yourself and finding happiness and the one you love.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Even though he was a killer, even though he was an assassin.
Yeah.
He was he's a good guy. Like, Todd McFarlane really, really wants us to know that he's a good guy.
Yes.
And... Malebolgia's plan is, with the spawns, when he does this every 100 years, he does it to warriors, I suppose, because he wants a captain to lead the armies of hell. That's the point of this. Anyone that goes to his sphere gets a spawn suit slapped on him, becomes a foot soldier in the armies of hell, but he needs captains to lead it, and that's the idea behind these hell spawns. So he sends them back to Earth to do this test, whether they can resist. The trouble is, the test is that they use all their energy doing good. If you want a guy who's going to do good deeds, like Malebolgia just saying to Spawn, you're not going to be able... Are you going to be able to resist doing good? Yeah. This guy did not do good when he was alive.
Yeah.
He was a fucking murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's not thought it through.
No.
And there's only so much that sex pest and molester Neil Gaiman could do to fix it.
Yes. Yeah. Well... this thing is currently at issue, I think I saw it today, I was trying to figure out what number, it's like number 345 or something.
I can't believe that.
It's going.
He's still reading this.
It's still going, must be selling enough, or he's got enough money from his empire of selling toys and stuff.
And producing things like the HBO cartoon.
Oh yeah, there was an HBO cartoon that ran from 97 to 99. It's only 18 episodes though, I looked that up. It felt like it was bigger at the time, but it was not. It was only 18 episodes.
The funny thing is apparently it was much more, how would you say, violent than this movie that we watched. It had much more gore and explicit content.
That's right. Because it's more like the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is funny. I mean, because it was on HBO.
Yes, that's right.
It was like a flagship kind of title for HBO in the late 90s.
Yeah, they had a Max cartoon around the same time too. That was another.
That's supposed to be pretty good.
Title.
That Max cartoon.
Yeah. And that's about all I can tell you. Although there are 350 issues of Spawn, I've only read 4.
Yeah.
Maybe actually about 12 or 15 if you count the Alan Moore miniseries and Violator stuff. I really can't tell you any more about it than that.
What does he do all the time?
Well,
do they
actually,
get rid of that countdown? They must do it sometime.
They must get rid of it sometime, much like they sorted out the 13 regenerations of the Doctor. They're like, oh, we gotta fix this because we need to do 10 more or whatever, or 100 more. I did notice as soon as he shows up, he's like stopping alley crimes. There's a woman being attacked in alley and Spawn.
Yeah, why is he doing that?
Because every superhero stops an alley crime.
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense for him to be behaving like this.
Yeah.
He's a reanimated corpse with no memory who used to be a hardened assassin.
Yeah.
What part of that equals stop alley crimes? He also goes back to the CIA and stops his old boss from hitting on secretaries.
Right, yes.
Why would he do that?
Yeah.
And if it was in his character to do that, why didn't he do it when he was alive?
Yeah.
Because he didn't, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And his memories start to come back piece by piece.
Yeah.
Slowly he remembers Wanda. He didn't even remember his wife's name or what she looked like initially. He just knew he had a wife.
He doesn't remember who killed him.
Yeah.
That's a kind of like, that's going to be a reveal.
Yeah.
Because he's teasing at that in issue 4 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It ends up being a character, one of Liefeld's characters called Chapel.
Yeah. Initially, these were all like one universe.
Yeah.
So these characters would all meet each other.
Oh yeah,
it's very
he was
distracting.
talking about Youngblood all the time.
Yes.
The very first issue talking about Youngblood. I don't know what Youngblood is.
Yeah.
It's like a Liefeld.
No, you can't. No, you can't read this like independently of. You have to know about these bits and pieces here and there. The Youngblood character Chapel, which killed him, is hilarious. When we watched the movie, he was replaced by Priest. I was like, Chapel Priest? Like, oh, that's the connection, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the film. Yeah. So funny. I've got...
maybe named her altar or cathedral or something.
Jessica Priest.
Yeah.
She's just skulking around like the Baroness in all of her scenes. This guy, Chapel, is another HIV positive character.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. God, these guys thought they...
You want to be edgy, just give everybody AIDS.
Yeah.
So he's like I think he's also a character of color, like a black character, right. Chapel.
Yeah.
He's had the super soldier serum like Captain America or similar, except the serum gave him AIDS.
Okay, so they were reusing a hypodermic needle?
I didn't realize that they're just sharing needles.
Jesus Christ.
So fucking funny.
Okay.
Amusingly, they replaced this character Chapel in the film with a female character called Priest, who's white. She's not black. McFarlane then retconned her into the Spawn comic book.
Got it.
Made it so that Chapel didn't kill Spawn, and instead it was Jessica Priest. Why did he do that? Presumably because he didn't want to pay Liefeld any more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter because he swiftly loses interest in all this.
Yeah.
And she's never mentioned again.
Right. Okay, New Line Cinema, 1997.
Yep.
This is the same era, as we were talking about, as you came out of the cinema, as The Crow.
Yep. People are trying to make the next Batman
Crow, Blade, Faust.
Yeah.
Even Batman 89, Batman Returns, I really think are the template in terms of the darkness, all the night scenes in alleys and things like that we get in this movie. We get one of the things I said I didn't want to do again. I think maybe after we did Constantine and Dylan Dog, at some stage I said I don't want to do any more movies about secret wars between good and evil. Well, here we are. We got another secret war.
Do we? I watched this film before I read much of the comics, and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
This film, you have to know what... You have to have read the comics in order to know what's happening.
No, it doesn't help. Look, let me read the opening narration by our Cagliostro character. This is the first of many narrations first of many info dumps in the movie that are like, what?
Accompanied by all these goofy effects as well, like fireballs going off.
Yes. Okay. Here's our Cagliostro's narration. The battle between heaven and hell has waged eternal, their armies fueled by souls harvested on earth. The devil Malabolgia has sent a lieutenant to earth to recruit men to turn the world into a place of death, in exchange for wealth and power. A place that provides enough souls to complete his army and allow Armageddon to begin. All the Dark Lord needs now is a great soldier, someone who can lead his hordes to the gates of heaven and burn them down.
Okay.
Like him, I killed in the name of good. This is a bit like Dune 84, where Ireland fades away and then comes back, wait, there's more!
I almost forgot.
Like him, I killed in the name of good, but the violence of my life pulled my soul towards the darkness. But I fought and freed my soul, now I watch for others like me. Men are the ones who create evil on earth. It is the choices they make that enslave their souls to hell. This is the test. That's what we're talking about. The understanding is, we've had several movies. If you have an opening narration like this in a movie, you're doomed. Doomed. That goes for Dune 84 and all the movies you've done on this podcast where there's a war between heaven and earth and these guys and these. And you're like, Frankenstein, all these movies, I can't handle it anymore. I don't understand what any of this is. So why is this guy suddenly start talking about himself, a character we don't see on screen? Why are you telling us who you are? And then we get this Black Ops scene with Al Simmons coming in, played by Michael J. White.
Yep, who we saw.
And we're like, okay, was the voiceover by him? No, he doesn't speak in this scene. Very confusing for an audience that doesn't know.
Yep. If you don't know
what they're in for.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't know who these characters are, also the audio quality of the film that we were watching, because we went and watched it at the Astor, and we had a Q&A with Michael J. White before the film started, which was fun. I don't think he really wanted to be there.
There was a low turnout.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when we went to see Flash Gordon and The Phantom, they were packed.
Yeah.
And I didn't particularly like either of those movies. But there was an audience for them that
people
was
were there.
like...
People wanted to see either Billy Zane or Flash Gordon the movie.
One of those two.
Yeah. And but this, no, like, they're not. I guess there aren't enough Spawn fans or Michael J. White fans because there was probably only about 30 people in the audience.
Yeah.
And he was probably a bit pissed off about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he comes in, he does this special up scene. It looks like we're going to get a James Bond movie or something.
Yeah, he's got all this gear, like this. He puts on these goggles that can, like, digitally identify his target. Like, not the target, is the target. It looks like Terminator kind of stuff.
It does.
This is the guy you're supposed to kill. He's got this gear, this like, Transformers, like, missile launcher that pops out of, like, a suitcase or something. And...
This is also a military airbase in Hong Kong.
Yes. Unnamed military airbase.
We don't. Who does this airbase belong to?
Yeah.
When did the film come out? In 1997, Hong Kong. That was when the handover occurred. When Hong Kong was handed back to the People's Republic. Who does it belong to at this point in time? Is this a Chinese airbase? It's got Chinese people working in the control tower in civilian.
Yep.
They're not wearing military uniforms. They're wearing civilian air traffic controller uniforms. He machine guns them all down.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's a sin. No wonder he goes to hell in like a couple of scenes later.
Well, we learn later he gets handed his file in the next scene.
Yeah.
By Wynn, played by Martin Sheen. And
Martin Sheen is in this
he looks
movie.
at his file and Wynn's like, you're a psychotic killer.
You're
the best. You're the best. You're a total psycho.
Total psycho.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen is doing this funny voice the whole way through.
Yeah, and he's cackling. He's laughing diabolically at his own plan. Then we will release the virus. And by the way, some of this seems like ADR maniacal laughter because sometimes he's not in shock when this is happening.
He's so cartoonishly evil. He's smoking black cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like black cigarillos. His ashtray has 2 scorpions in it.
Yes, and Priestess has like a tarantula.
She's holding a tarantula for no reason.
She's
it's like, okay, these guys are evil.
Yeah, she's a bit like the Bai-Ling character in The Crow, like in being this ridiculous, like, sexy, villainous
It's
type.
so funny. I don't know why Martin Sheen did this movie. I found 2 explanations online, neither of which were sourced or anything, but one, he wanted to be in a comic book movie.
Okay.
Great, he's in one.
Okay.
2, his grandson liked Spawn.
Oh, I believe that, maybe.
And so he's clearly not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
He's doing this goofy voice the whole time.
Yeah.
You're a total psycho, Al Simmons.
Yeah.
And he's laughing, and he's.
And there are two, not one but 2 Apocalypse Now in jokes in the movie.
Yeah.
So both of those are delivered by Leguizamo, which we'll talk about. By the way, we haven't got...
Yeah, I read he was ad-libbing a lot.
Right.
He's doing improv.
Yeah. So when Al Simmons fires this rocket at his target on this plane, kills all the civilians there, which he complains about in the next scene, by the way. But he kills everybody. But also on the airfield, on the airstrip, is Cagliostro. We don't know. There's this character wearing a feather duster.
A leather duster.
A leather duster. What did I say? Did I say feather duster?
Feather duster.
He's wearing a feather duster.
This movie's having a terrible effect though. This is the most deconstructed episode we've done for a while.
He's wearing yes. Anyway, you're like, who's this guy on the field just watching this happen?
Why is he here? How does he even know? Whatever.
How does he know Al Simmons is the guy that's going to reappear 5 years later as the Hellspawn?
5 years later,
5 years later as a Hellspawn.
How does he know he's going to die soon?
Then cut to credits. So as far as the audience, who's not read the comic is concerned, this movie is going to be a James Bond type movie about this guy that does special ops.
Yeah.
Because we haven't cut away from a supernatural happening or him descending into hell.
Yep.
It's just the end of the mission. Roll credits. First credited,
Spawn.
John Leguizamo. Second, Michael J. White. Third credited, Martin Sheen. How did this happen? First of all, Martin Sheen, your agent sucks. John Leguizamo...
I think he was riding high at this point. I
Yeah,
think he'd
serious
done Romeo
90s
and
heartthrob, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess...
He'd been playing heroes.
It just really, to me, really reminded me of, like, Gene Hackman, Jack Nicholson, but now we've got second tier, we got Leguizamo, Michael J. kind of, I guess, is what's happening here. I love John Leguizamo as an actor.
He's a good actor.
He is. Not sure quite why it's him in this movie. And not... They didn't just go for a Danny DeVito type or someone else. Like, maybe he was trying to stretch as an actor. I don't know.
Why did he do it? I mean, I
You
think that's
never
why
see
he
him
did
as
it.
himself.
I
He's
found an
always
interview.
in the clown suit.
Yes, that's right. I found a couple of interviews with him. He's spoken about the film a bit over the years. They asked him, why did you take it? At this point in his career, he was better known for playing heroic characters than he was for playing villains.
Right.
So it's just that. He's like, no one can tell me what kind of character or what kind of actor I'm going to be. I decided I wanted to play clown, the Violator, for that reason. So he's in a fat suit. He described it as like being in a full-body condom.
Right.
Very uncomfortable makeup.
Right.
And he did a lot of improv.
Okay.
Look, this character, he's superficially similar to the one in the comic, but he's a lot goofier, and he's doing a lot of...
Yeah, he's doing like current references and wisecracking.
It seems...
It's very much like The Mask.
Yeah, that was... and the genie from Aladdin.
Exactly.
Like a crass version of The Mask crossed with the genie from Aladdin.
Yeah.
And it absolutely doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I couldn't understand him 90% of the time.
Yeah.
We really needed subtitles on for this movie. Because there's a problem with the audio. I don't know what... Was this like a bad DVD rip that we were watching?
No, I think the Astor sometimes... There's sound issues. Okay, our director is Mark A.Z. Dippé. Dippé?
Yeah. So Dippé is an interesting bloke. Something of a wunderkind.
Okay.
Went to university at 17. Did a PhD in computer science, computer graphics specifically, apparently, from at Berkeley in 1985. Okay. And then he joined Industrial Light and Magic, where he was kind of like the brains behind a lot of like the big effects movies that ILM did. The Abyss, like the pseudopod, the water arm in the Abyss. He worked on Jurassic Park.
Okay.
He did the animation for the T-1000, the liquid metal in Terminator 2. So then this movie comes around and he quits ILM to found his own production company to work on this movie. I guess he's hoping this is going to be his big break. In fact, in interviews he even described it as his chance to get away from the company, by which I assume meant ILM. It did not work out for him. And basically any time in this movie when some weird thing happens, it's because Dippé came from a background in special effects.
Yeah. Yeah, and
special effects stuff is happening for no reason.
We see all the times when special effects guys turn into directors.
Right.
It's very common. I think even it wasn't Barbed Wire, wasn't that guy some sort of background stunts or special effects or something like that?
So he's just things happen so distracting all the time in this movie. Bits of Spawn will glow green for no reason.
Right.
People's eyes will glow green for no reason. Random objects around the room will glow green. Yeah. It's so distracting.
The leather duster's glowing. He's got a green outline around him.
He has a sword.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal with this sword is. He kind of drops it out of the sleeve of his duster all the time. This is Cagliostro. It glows blue. Why does it glow blue and other things glow green? I don't know. I'm just going to jam an effect in there. I'm an effects director.
This guy, Dippé, has also done 3 Garfield direct-to-videos.
Yeah.
And the 2022 Marmaduke.
Yes.
Which is unfortunately on our list. But I did say after Super Pets, no more full CGI kids movies, so we might not get to it.
Yes, and those guys. Yes, so after this kind of didn't do well.
Yeah,
he's off making Garfield.
Right.
Direct to videos.
Alan B. McElroy, the writer, wrote Halloween 4.
Another Halloween connection.
He wrote the Brandon Lee Rapid Fire in 92, Spawn in 97. 2002, Ballistic X vs. Sievert, notoriously one of the worst movies ever made.
Yep.
And just a bunch of random.
And he used to write for
Tekken, 2009.
Oh my god! Yeah, and he wrote for the HBO cartoon as well, the Spawn cartoon.
Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, okay, yeah. So that would make some sense.
I guess that's how he got the job.
All right. Okay, after the credits. Now, I think we're in Martin Sheen's office. Yes, and he's meeting with the Violator, the clown.
Martin Sheen is, yeah.
Yeah, and we
don't see him. He's in silhouette.
We don't see him. He's in shadow. Yeah, that's right. And he's like, the clown wants some super virus. He's like, Martin Sheen, Wynn, you're supposed to produce this virus. And Wynn is like, hey, that's a delicate operation. It's going to take me 5 years to develop this virus, this super virus. And Violator's like, one more thing. We want Al Simmons. We're going to recruit him. Sheen's like, why do you want Al Simmons? He's like, don't ask questions.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh my god, it was Pluto Nash. The Adventures of Pluto Nash. That's why I thought of Eddie Murphy.
Oh, got it.
Anyway, moving on.
You weren't thinking of Meteor Man.
No.
The Robert Townsend Meteor.
That's it. That's how I got confused.
Got it.
An hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now we meet Wanda, the wife, and Terry.
Yep.
Terry's showed up at Al's house to pick him up to go to work.
Yeah, where do they work? This guy was in Hong Kong earlier that day.
He says that business last night. They talk about what happened last night.
Where are they? Are they in... Where are they?
Well, theoretically, if it's CIA, it's some division called A6 or something. But
yeah, the film can't make up its mind if he's...
If it's CIA, that means they're in Langley, which means he's flown pretty far.
Yeah, I don't think you can get back... But also, he lives just in, like, the suburbs.
Don't they also send him to North Korea that night? Isn't it the same day? Like, you're going to North Korea tonight?
He's got to do one more job. Yeah, that's it. So he wants to quit. He goes to the office, the cartoonishly evil office with scorpions and tarantulas, and Martin Sheen going, "Rah!"
Yeah.
And he's like, I want out. I can't do this anymore. I killed a whole bunch of innocents on that last mission.
Yeah. Terry also is
collateral damage.
Terry, in the car on the way over, is very suspicious of what's going on in Wynn's office. He's like, all these missions are shady and there's bad stuff going on.
Yeah.
By the way, Wanda has an air freshener in her car, which has the Violator clown's face on it.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Doesn't go anywhere.
It's a bad Easter egg.
Yeah.
Okay. They go into the office. Yeah, this is when we get the one last job. By the way, Priest, Jessica Priest, she has a holster in her garter. She has a gun tucked up in there.
She's like, sexy villainess. She's for sexy villainess. That's her whole thing.
Yeah. So Wynn's like, hey, there's this plant with a biological weapon in North Korea. You need to go over there. This is the scene also where he says, you're a psychotic killer.
Yes.
And he's like, you got to do this job. You got to blow up the plant.
Yep. Oh, there's a village near there or something. Oh, no, wait. No, that comes later. So he goes to the plant that day, I guess, and he's stalking around. He kills a guard. Michael J. White gets to do some karate on him.
Yeah.
Kills this guy. Then he drops down in the plant and finds armed bombs. This isn't the plan, he says. Then Martin Sheen just walks down the stairs.
Martin Sheen is there.
How is he there? Did Martin Sheen have to kill a guard as well? Or is Michael J. White...
And Priest is there as well.
How is these bombs already there?
Yeah.
If Michael J. White is only just now infiltrating the facility and taking out the guards.
Why send Michael J. White there?
Because they're going to kill him.
Why not? Why do they have to go to North Korea to kill him?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do they have to plant these bombs before they kill him? Yeah. Why?
It doesn't make sense.
Why anything?
Yeah.
How does any of this fit together?
Also, they've brought in this character, Priest, as a replacement for Chapel to kill Al Simmons. Because we can't... I'll get into this a little later on, but we can't have too many black characters in our movie.
Yeah.
New Line's not about that.
Yeah, that's right. Chapel and Terry were both black characters in the comic.
Yep. And
they've both been changed to white characters.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So we can't. Yeah. So we have to bring in this new version, Priest. She's been brought in specifically to kill Al Simmons, and she doesn't even kill him.
Yeah.
She just sprays. She has an attachment on her gun that sprays him with flammable liquid.
Yeah.
What is this attachment doing on the gun? What's it used for in normal situations?
How many shots can you use it for? It seems like she emptied the tank in one shot. Like it would. Like I don't see this huge tank on it anyway.
All right, Martin Sheen has come down the stairs. Like this was all a setup, I guess, and Michael Jai White wants to. Al Simmons wants to kill him, but Priest immobilizes him by shooting him in the leg or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she sprays him with the goop out of her gun, and then of course Martin Sheen flicks one of his black cigarettes at him, sets him on fire.
Yeah.
He's that's actually Michael Jai White on fire.
Oh right!
Yeah.
Wow.
He lit himself. They lit him on fire for
Jesus.
that. And then there's an explosion, and then he goes down to hell.
Okay. He goes down to hell, but then he wakes up in an alley in the next scene.
Yes.
Wearing different clothes.
Yes.
He's not wearing his tactical gear.
No.
His face is all burnt up. The clown is there taunting him.
Yes.
For a moment, but then takes off. But then he's met by Cagliostro.
Yeah.
Who immediately is like, I don't know, gives him some mumbo jumbo.
Yep.
I think whenever there's a kid that shows up that also hangs out with him.
Zach. So this is obligatory, I guess, when you're going to make a superhero movie. This is not a character from the comics, but you got to have your plucky kid.
Yes, I think we had this in The Crow as well. Did we have a plucky kid in The Crow?
Yeah, there was a plucky kid in The Crow
that was helping The Crow.
You've always got to have your plucky kid.
By the way, this plucky kid was bothering me how familiar he seemed. Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he's the boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Or it might be a tumor. I don't know. He's one of those kids.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cagliostro glows green, so we know he's a Obi-Wan type. As he's trying to help Al here.
Cagliostro is played by an English character actor called Nicol Williamson. Huge career.
Right.
No other comic book credits, although he did appear in a film called Venom and a film called Black Widow, neither of which have anything to do with comic books.
Great. But we get a little bit more VO from him where he's like, a new hellspawn has emerged. Now he must choose this and that. And I couldn't tell what he was talking about. What do you mean, choose about what? Like, what do you...
Choose what?
What is this battle? What is going on? None of this is clear, even though he's supposed to be making things clear. Okay, he goes back to his house where he's shocked to find that there's a daughter there, that Terry and Wanda are married, and there's this clown at the kids' party. It's clown. It's Cyan, the daughter's birthday.
Yes.
And it's a clown with evil teeth.
Yes. Because it's clown. It's Violator.
It is Violator, yeah.
And he's like acting really suspiciously.
Oh yeah, and he's saying all sorts of things to these kids about like, I charge less than the hookers. They're like weird lines and stuff.
Why are you doing this? Why would they ever hire this clown?
Yeah, very.
I half expected them to go,
well,
gee, that clown you hired.
Maybe that's the clown that she had on her air freshener. Yeah. This is like a famous clown that Wanda loves. She's like, this guy's my favorite clown.
I was hoping we'd get a bit where Wanda would say to Terry, that clown you hired is terrible. And Terry would say, I thought you hired him.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, because this movie's not funny either.
Yeah.
It so badly wants to be funny, especially with Leguizamo's constant ad-libbing, but none of it's funny. There's a lot of fart jokes and, he's farting. At one point, he farts green glitter. Yeah. Because Dippé couldn't resist adding in another effect.
Right. Yeah. I found the line, kids, I got more tricks than your local hooker.
Why are you saying that to those children?
Yeah.
Why would you say that to them?
I don't know. Little Cyan finds this homeless man, Al Simmons, in the bushes, spying on their house. In this version, unlike the comic, Terry is like, I'm going to call the cops. They don't bring this guy in and try to give him
Well, he can't shapeshift into a white guy.
That's right. That's right. He's just burned up.
Call the cops on this burned up person of color in their yard.
By the way, in this same scene, they call the clown. The clown comes over and he's like, oh, this is my friend. Yeah. And he offers a little candy to Cyan and says, a little something for Lolita here. Another line in this movie. Oh, it's a toy. It's a toy he hands her.
Also, this toy also spews green glitter.
Green glitter.
Again, for no reason. This never pays off.
I thought it was going to be magic. I thought it was going to come alive like Chucky or that
Or it
thing
was,
from Tales of Terror.
Yeah, that's...
What, Trilogy of Terror? What was it called?
Yeah, that one. That's such a good...
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That little voodoo doll thing.
Yeah.
So cool. Anyway, yeah. I wish I'd been watching that. So this, maybe this later on in the movie, little doll was going to set up a sadistic choice or something. He was going to have to choose to save his daughter. No, it never pays off.
No.
And there's no reason for it to spray green glitter out of its mouth.
Okay, so he goes back to the alley where the clown confronts him and is like...
Well, the clown carries him back because he's passed out.
That's right, of course. And he tells him you're dead and all this stuff, and you've made a deal with the devil, and you just have to destroy... You have to wreak havoc, I guess?
Yeah,
at this
it's
stage.
never clear.
You have to avenge a murder. He wants him to kill Jason Wynn.
Yeah.
It's not clear why.
Nope.
By the way, later on, they put this thing in Wynn's heart,
Oh, yeah.
which,
Well,
if he dies, is going to release the virus and destroy the world.
Wynn collected the virus from the North Korean facility. It's called Heat 6 or Heat 16.
Heat 16.
And it is 100% fatal unless you are vaccinated against it.
Yeah.
And it will kill everyone on Earth. Because it's also very unclear. He's selling this virus to nations.
Yeah.
He's built something which it's called like the consortium.
Yeah.
As powerful as the United Nations, we're told. Mm-hmm. So while he's being head of the CIA, he's also heading a quote-unquote consortium, which I think sells weapons.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he's selling the virus, because we know it's the virus because he's talking about delivery mechanisms to them. He's selling the virus to all these third world countries and dictators or what have you. Later on, he hooks his heart up to a pacemaker device that if he is killed, it will set off the virus all over the world.
Yeah.
A question: are these the same? Are these the viruses that he sold to these dictators? So does he still have control of them, or has he set up these caches independently?
Right. It doesn't matter because at the very end of the movie, they say all the caches have been destroyed. There's a line of dialogue. It's that easy.
Well, I guess he never didn't sell them. There must have been his own caches then.
Okay. Here's my question about the scene. But by the way, with the heart thing, since we're already talking about it, Violator says it will prevent people from killing you because it'll release the virus.
Yep.
But in order for that threat to work, you have to tell people that your heart is connected.
Yeah, he never does.
You have to tell people, hey, I've got a dead man switch in my heart. If you kill me, it'll kill everyone else.
And Spawn doesn't know. Spawn himself doesn't know.
No. And also in this scene, which I'm in the alley, Violator says, you have to cause destruction and death, and you have to go get your revenge on Wynn.
Yep.
If Spawn in this scene had gone and killed Wynn before the heart thing's in, does this still work for Violator's plan?
Nope.
So
what is his plan? The plan seems to be that Spawn needs to be the one to kill Wynn while his heart is hooked up to the pacemaker so that Heat 16 will go off and kill everybody in the world.
Yes.
And that somehow serves the plan of Clown and Malbolgia down in hell.
Okay.
Now we know Malbolgia wants to start the apocalypse. Is that what's going on?
I think so.
If you kill everyone on Earth, why even have an apocalypse?
Right. Well, okay, also, but what's Spawn's part in this? Because what I mean is,
why does Spawn have to do it?
You put the thing in Wynn's heart. Okay, now, once he's had the surgery, Violator, why don't you kill Wynn and set off all the viruses?
Yes. But it has to be Spawn.
Why does it have to be Al Simmons?
Don't know, we're never told.
I guess maybe is this vaguely the test
I think
that
this could be the test that he's talking about. Maybe, but why would Malbolgia be testing Spawn? Wouldn't it be Cagliostro that was testing Spawn?
I was counting on Spawn killing you, then you would get his soul and kickstart the Apocalypse Now. This is one of the Apocalypse Now in-jokes, and this is delivered by Violator to Wynn.
Yes.
I was counting on Spawn killing you when you... Oh, and then Wynn says then you would get his soul. And then he says and kickstart the apocalypse.
Now, if you've read... Again, this is, I think, in the comic... Now, I'm going to... There's no point in doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. In issue 8 that Alan Moore wrote...
Yeah.
Someone that Spawn tortured to death and killed, a guy called Billy Kincaid.
Yeah,
child murderer.
Yeah.
He is sent to hell. We have an amazing Mooresque journey where he wanders around the 8 spheres of hell, and each of them is grotesque in a different way. Then finally, he ends up in the 8th sphere, Malbolgia, where he gets the spawn suit whacked on him, the neural parasite, and he becomes one of the armies of hell. From this, you could extrapolate that anyone Spawn kills or causes to be killed becomes a soldier in the army.
Wow, they could have put a line in there about that.
Wouldn't have hurt.
Yeah.
So maybe Spawn, Clown and Malbolgia want Spawn to kill Wynn, which will then kill everyone on Earth. So all of those people will become soldiers in the war against heaven.
There is a line where he says, where Violator says, if you do all the stuff, this is the alley scene. If you do all the stuff first, we'll get Wanda back for you.
Right.
Okay.
I missed that. I don't understand a word. This is because you've got the subtitles.
Yes,
now, right?
I'm looking at the
I didn't get any of this when I watched the movie.
Okay, then he teleports him. By the way, we got to talk about all the teleporting. He teleported him to the alley.
Yep.
Now he teleports him to the cemetery. Keep in mind that Violator is capable of teleporting from point to point. Do not forget this.
No, I won't forget.
Okay, they go to his grave, and he shows them that you are actually dead.
Yep.
They
digs it up.
They dig up the grave. They find the skeleton of Val Simmons there. So the zombie Val Simmons is digging up the skeleton of Val Simmons, and a green glowing hand reaches out of the grave
And grabs him.
Tried to grab him. Whose hand is that? Is that the soul of Al Simmons?
Don't know.
Is the soul of Al Simmons not in zombie Al Simmons? Are there?
He sold his soul to Malbolgia, so
Right.
where is his soul? Is
Okay.
it still in his body? Maybe...
Is it capable of reaching out from his grave to grab him?
No, I don't think it's his soul. I thought it was Violator's hand,
Okay.
but it's not.
Right.
Because Violator's hand in the comics is really skinny, and this hand is quite skinny.
Right.
So I thought, this is Clown playing tricks on... this Clown can
okay,
shapeshift.
got
Yeah,
it.
but no, but that's not it. Because later on, Clown turns into Violator, and movie version of Violator, the demon, is
right.
huge.
Yeah, right.
And has massive hands.
Yeah.
So it's not... So this is just like a carry... They've just shoved it in.
Yeah.
Again, why is this here? Because Dippé's from an effects background.
Yes. Got it.
We need an effects hand to come out of the grave and grab.
He takes a little cameo out of the grave. It's a picture of him and
Yep.
Wanda.
Yep, it's glowing green.
Yeah.
Why is this locket glowing
Why is the
green?
locket glowing green? Is it a magical locket? We think so. It's not.
It's glowing green for no reason. He then puts it in his chest.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of Spawn's powers to absorb lockets.
Yeah.
Great power.
Teleport back to the alley. Violator takes off. Cagliostro's like, hey, I'm like one of you. Every choice has its consequences. I killed for the Kingdom of Saxony 500 years ago. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, I figured out who the reporter was. So we get this reporter.
Yeah.
She looks like the reporter from... There's a reporter in the comics. We get these TV screens, which I think is a narrative technique he's lifted from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight, of having the
Yes.
repeating TV screens.
Yes, 100%.
There's a very familiar accent. I was like, who is this person? She was on Buffy for like 14 episodes. She was a teacher who had a kind of relationship with Giles in the early seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this reporter, a news reporter, who reads the news but is also an investigative journalist.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Those things are the same.
And she's
And
interviewing Terry, who is now a mouthpiece for the guy that he was very suspicious about 5 years earlier. I was like, oh, has he done a heel turn, or...
there's an Easter egg here as well. The reporter has the exact same haircut as the one in the comic.
Yeah, she looks the part. And she's interviewing Terry here.
Terry's like, he's running interference for the CIA and its evilness. He's like, oh yeah, this was just a training incident or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's feeling
Just
bad
constantly.
about it. I guess he's been doing it for 5 years, and he's only now... 5 years ago he had, he wasn't sure. 5 years ago he had his suspicions. 5 years later he finally acts on them. When the movie starts again.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So Wynn is watching this from his office, which does not seem like a CIA office. Does not seem like he does CIA day-to-day business. He's in this, like, lair.
Yeah. It
It's
is
like
a
an
lair.
evil lair.
Yep.
Priest is in there. She looks like she's Trinity. Or, like, she's just in this leather gear all the time. And they're watching this, like, there's CGI, like, projections of the virus destroying the world and stuff. Oh, he's got this disc with his special ops plans on it. This is a key point.
Oh, man.
He's got a CD.
Yeah, it's a little CD.
And it's got a label on it that's labeled, like, Secret Special Ops or something like that.
I think it says Special Ops. But it might as well say Top Secret Data or something. Super secret spy data. You know, my evil plans, it might as well say. I can't believe it's got a label on it that says Special Ops. Like, that's so nuts.
Very crazy. Okay, so there's a dinner party happening this night. There's like a fundraising banquet or something like that.
It's where Martin Sheen is schmoozing with all the third world dictators that he sells the virus to.
Spawn shows up to try to kill Martin Sheen. By the way, this is exactly what... So he hasn't had the implant at this stage.
Yeah, so this would not achieve
what would
anything.
happen if Spawn succeeded in killing Martin Sheen?
Which he could very easily have done, because he stops to talk to him.
Yeah.
He could have killed him at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah, great plan.
Yeah. He shows up and he's like... He's got his suit with the big cape. By the way, the suit is not a cloth suit like in the comics. It looks like the Faust suit.
It does look like the Faust suit.
It's
like a rubber suit.
Yeah.
It looks alright.
I guess a bit like even like the Batman suit.
I would say the practical effects in this movie are pretty good.
Yes.
Because they're done by Robert Kurtzman again.
Yeah, that's right. And Greg Nicotero.
Yeah.
Pre-Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero is
whereas all of the computer effects have aged horribly.
Yeah, the cape especially looks real. And you can make the excuse that it's a living creature, but they never say that in this movie. I don't think. So he confronts Wynn. Spawn confronts Wynn. He says, "Recognize me, it's me, Al Simmons." And he's like, "Al Simmons?" I'm not sure why I'm so surprised, because Violator said we're going to recruit Al Simmons into our army.
Yep.
So he shouldn't be surprised that the guy's back from the dead, really.
Because you're literally doing deals with demons from hell.
Yep. But Priest shows up and starts machine gunning him before. She's a bit like... Also reminded me of Famke Janssen in GoldenEye.
Right.
As Ivana Onatopp, where she was like really like...
Xenia Onatopp.
Xenia Onatopp, where she was like really orgasmic when she was like firing
and killing people.
Gun. Yeah. It's a bit like that character.
Yep. She
tries to kick Spawn in the crotch.
And Spawn's belt comes to life and intersects her foot.
Yeah.
So at this point, again, what kind of control does Spawn have over his powers? This film can't decide.
No.
Because later on we hear that he can't.
Yeah, later on we're told this was instinct. It was your instinct protecting you. But then we get another fight before he's told it's his instincts, where his instincts did not kick in at all.
That's when he's fighting Violator, yeah. Why didn't they kick in then?
Yeah. He kills Priest in this scene. He tries to run from the cops. He morphs into a wall, but then unmorphs and the cops see him anyway. So why did we have this effect in there? Just leave it.
Happen? Oh, also in this banquet scene we get a cameo from Angela, the Neil Gaiman character.
Right. Got it.
She's played by Laura Interval.
Okay. Who's that?
Nobody. But she did play Seven of Nine's mum in Voyager.
Whoa! Great.
Erin Hansen is the name of the character.
Yes, that's right. Yes, the Hansen.
Fascinating.
Okay. Hilarious line here where when the cops show up and the ambulances show up to clean up this massive massacre that's happened.
Yep.
They're taking Priest's body out and...
Someone, I think a doctor maybe, checks her vitals and then says, "She dead."
Oh, she's dead. Oh, she's dead. Just like that. Just looks at her for 1 second. Oh, she's dead.
It's
walks
so
away.
brusque.
It's the strangest line reading. Was this the director's brother or something? Like,
I don't know. Angela's not the only cameo. Two characters from the comic, Sam and Twitch, also have uncredited silent cameos.
Okay.
I didn't spot them. Todd McFarlane is also in it as a homeless man. One of the homeless guys.
Really? Huh. Okay.
Like Frank Miller in...
Yeah. In Daredevil? Yeah.
in Daredevil.
Interesting. There's not much attention paid to the homeless people. Like, the camera never lingers on them long enough.
So he could have been any one of them. I didn't spot him.
Yeah.
This film, again, this film is just for people that like Spawn.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more clear with stuff like this going on in it.
Yeah. Well, even then, like, even if you liked Spawn, would you be able to spot Sam and Twitch in this movie? I don't know. Okay, so while they're outside with the ambulances, Violator approaches Wynn and says, hey, we're going to put this thing in your heart that I guess was developed by Hell Tech. I guess the Hell Tech division was like, we're going to...
It's just a pacemaker.
Put this...
It's a pacemaker that when it stops, the heat 16 goes off. So we had a pacemaker... We had this same gambit in Oldboy, didn't we? With the pacemaker.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dead man switch. Wynn loves the idea. He's like, that's a great idea.
Why is it a great idea? Why would you want that?
I don't know.
Why would you want that?
He thinks it's going to keep him alive, but you got to tell people about it. Otherwise, it's not going to stop them from trying to assassinate you. Bizarre. Very bizarre.
Why would he agree to do that? It's nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and of course he doesn't tell anyone, as you said.
Malabolgia is angry with Violator.
I don't remember why.
For some reason. He sucks him back to hell. Don't know why.
Is it because he was dancing in a cheerleader outfit?
Maybe. Yeah, you're fooling around. You need to be forcing the Spawn, egging him on, maybe.
Yeah.
This is when Spawn goes to see Wanda give a talk on infectious diseases. She's some sort of expert, I guess. Cyan and her dog are there. There's a hilarious scene here where Terry shows up. He's like, hey, we got to get out of here. There was an attempt on Wynn's life tonight. Can't find the dog. He's like, well, let's just go. They drive off without the dog.
Leave the dog behind. He's probably been trying to get rid of that dog for 5 years. He's finally got his chance. Yeah. The dog's called Spaz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Spaz is the nickname of one of the producers, one of the other guys, one of the people that left ILM to found the production company.
Right. Okay, Violator comes up to the rooftop where Spawn is hanging out to attack him. I guess not to attack him, he's trying to get him going to do his hellish mission, I guess. And Spawn attacks him, and I guess he defends himself, and he turns into the big creature, the demon version of Violator.
Yep. Yes.
And this is where he gives a line which is like, I'm not the Vindicator, That's an Alan Moore line.
Yes, it is. It's straight out of the Violator miniseries.
The Violator miniseries.
I ring the bell for that.
Yes. I believe Alan Moore at the time was giving an interview about working on the Spawn books and said, well, Todd said if he uses anything from some of my writings, I get paid for it. I really want to know if Todd McFarlane paid him for using his almost exact line of dialogue. They changed like one or two words. Maybe he thinks that, based on his medieval Spawn thinking, maybe he thinks it's no longer owned by
you're right. They did change one or two words, so maybe they decided that's enough.
He does say vibrator or something like
instead of vegetator or...
Yeah, instead of...
Veginator or something like that was Moore's original line.
Yeah. They have a big fight. Spawn does not use any of his powers to defend himself.
He uses a
machine gun.
Yes.
In the comics, Spawn does start using machine guns, but it's to preserve his own...
The power.
The countdown timer.
Yes, because every time he uses his hell powers, or whatever they are, he loses a bit of time.
Yeah.
And when he runs out, when that hourglass runs out, he gets sucked back to hell.
Right.
To do what Gaiman says to do the test.
Yeah.
Where he gets eaten or he becomes a captain in the armies of hell.
Right. So why is this version of Spawn using a machine gun? There's no real reason for him to be using machines instead of using his suit like he did. Why not use that crotch jaw?
The film's explanation is that he prefers to use the guns because he hasn't mastered his powers.
Right, okay.
But as you just pointed out, that doesn't make sense because he has used his powers in the fight with Priest.
Yeah.
So that doesn't hold water. Because later Cagliostro comes and says he's going to show him how to use his powers, like Obi-Wan showing Luke how to use the Force. And sure, we get to see him doing it, but Benny's like, oh no, I can't rely on these, I've got to use guns instead. So, well, okay.
Right.
It doesn't really make sense, but whatever.
It makes it a bit more Crow-like, which I didn't like. I mean, the Crows... It was great seeing Brandon Lee running around with those machine guns, blowing stuff up.
Spawn uses guns.
Yeah.
Because I guess Todd McFarlane thinks that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the comics, the guns he's got are completely stupid looking. They look like Liefeld style guns. They don't look like... What kind of shells do they fire?
Yeah.
They're stupid.
Yeah.
They look like giant cannons with... There's knobs and apertures all over them.
Yeah. So, Violator says, well, I'm going to go... rape Wanda, essentially. He's like, bye. He leaves Spawn like...
He eats a pizza with maggots on it.
That was in the earlier
Oh, you're right. That was real maggots.
Yeah. Was it?
Leguizamo ate those maggots.
Wow, I was wondering about that special effect watching it in the theater.
I was watching it too, wondering how they did the switch. They did not do the switch. What's more, he did it twice.
Good God. I love you, John Leguizamo. I really do. I don't know why you did this movie, but you're great. You're absolutely great. Yeah, so he's like, I'm going to go play with Wanda, bye-bye. Or Wynn's going to kill her or something like that. And so he runs off.
Yep.
He's going to go get Wanda. Spawn, meanwhile, goes through a Yoda training session. In fact, he calls Calculus Yoda.
Yoda. He really should have called him Obi-Wan, but...
And he goes through his whole training. Instead of going to help Wanda...
Yep.
He's like, hey, let's go through all this training. I'll learn how to use my cape. Learn how to form...
And Violator, as we know, can teleport. So I think there's some urgency here.
Oh, yeah.
He really should have got going.
Yeah.
But instead he has a lengthy training montage.
It's a lengthy training bit. And then finally he gets on a motorcycle. He steals a motorcycle and he chases after... She goes to find Wanda. Violator's driving there in this big truck. Big transport truck.
Yep.
He can teleport. I guess he was trying to rile Spawn up and get him to turn
I think
evil.
he has a line of dialogue where he basically says that.
Right.
I'm going to get him so mad, he'll kill Wynn straight away when we get there. He says something like that.
Right.
But again, it doesn't make sense.
Right. He also gets the line here, I love the smell of burning asphalt in the morning, which is the other Apocalypse
I noticed
line.
that too. I actually did laugh at that line.
Yeah.
100% an ad-lib.
And in this scene, Spawn has all sorts of Green Lantern powers. He can just form his cape into, like...
A shield?
A shield, or into a big drill kind of thing that destroys the truck.
And then, yes, that's right. And then at one point, Leguizamo dumps... I think Dip from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Right.
he dumps this green stuff out the back. And he has a line of dialogue where he says this is going to fix his cape, or it's going to fix him somehow. And then when Spawn drives through it, his armor that he's built out of his cape, like, disappears.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is this stuff? Is this some kind of hell? I just thought, this is like the hell version of Dip.
Yeah.
And it affects Spawn powers.
Yeah.
Again, this never appears again.
No.
It's just there for one bit.
Terry has copied the Secret Ops disc.
and brilliantly, he says downloaded, but of course it's burned, it to this mini disc, and hilariously, it must be the same prop, because it also has sticky taped on it, Special Ops.
Same prop.
They didn't even get a different prop.
By the way, his monitors... CRT monitors, 1950 monitors, are touchscreen, partially touchscreen. Sometimes
I saw that. That was
the
interesting.
Screen. Although they do have super tech in this movie, as we saw from the first scene.
Again, this will be in effect.
But he
Dippé will have said, let's do a touchscreen on a CRT monitor.
Yeah. So he sends all the data to the reporter.
Yep.
The Buffy
she's
reporter.
now an investigative reporter.
Yeah. And she can also, apparently, is the one that blows up the viruses in the next 10 minutes. Because moments from now, all the viruses have been destroyed.
Yep, she just knows who to contact.
Yeah.
So she's not only an investigative journalist, she's a newsreader, and she's also a high-level government contacts and can get virus dumps blown up all around the world in one evening.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, as soon as he sends it, Martin Sheen shows up at the house.
Yep.
Now,
why is he here? How did he know?
The whole climax of this movie takes place in this suburban living room.
And hell.
Except for a moment in hell. But even then, the final finale takes place in suburban living. Most movies of this type, even Daredevil, which I would also say is of this ilk.
Yeah, definitely.
You expect a church, an alley, some sort of epic location.
It's a living room.
It's a living room in front of a fireplace. Very odd. Basically...
They have a fight again.
Yeah, and there's a fake version of Wanda, which is actually the Violator, and he threatens Spawn, says you have to kill Wynn, or... What was it?
I don't remember.
Threatens him with...
But the hilarious bit is where Spawn has X-ray vision.
Yes, suddenly has X-ray vision.
And he can perform open heart surgery on Wynn with his eyes, and then levitate, telekinetically remove the pacemaker out of Wynn's body.
Yeah.
So, Spawn is gearing up to kill. He's found out, Wynn has told him about the pacemaker. Luckily, Spawn gave him enough time to do that. Mm-hmm. Wynn has told Spawn about the pacemaker, but Spawn's tempted to kill. He's tempted to kill him anyway, because at this point he's seen a fake Wanda die, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wynn,
Wynn
stabs the fake Wanda. Yeah. He's seen Wanda die, and he's like, I don't have anything to live for anymore. Guess I'm going to kill you now and kill everyone on Earth. But then he looks over and sees his daughter? It's his daughter, isn't it, in this?
Yeah.
Because in the comic,
here's the line. Either you join Hell's army or she dies.
to about Wanda, yeah.
Wait, so the whole thing about Spawn was to get him to join the army? You wiped his memories, why not just leave them wiped?
Yeah.
And brainwash him into being...
It's straight out of the comic. It never makes any sense what's going on in the comic, despite, as I said, despite Moore and Gaiman's efforts. Todd McFarlane just wanted an amnesiac guy running around with hell powers.
Yeah.
And the idea that he's being recruited to be a captain in the army, it's never clear how running around on Earth is leading to that. They're always trying to say things like, oh, he needs to cause chaos to increase recruitment. And then, and I give him this much power so that it's a test if he's going to do good and go to hell. Like, none of it makes sense. None of it, when he was already an amnesiac. Also, Spawn is literally, Al Simmons has literally sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
In exchange for going back to Earth. How is this contract enforced? Because he doesn't seem to have to do anything the devil wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of deal is this?
Yeah. I think
Does the devil even have his soul?
I think Violator is supposed to be the agent that makes sure he's on the right track.
Yes. That's what he's doing in the film too.
Yeah.
Malbolgia, who hilariously is voiced by Frank Welker.
Yes, doing his Dr. Claw voice from Inspector Gadget.
It's Dr. Claw. Like, he's a demon in hell that's
so
Dr.
distracting.
Claw.
If you're of a certain age and you grew up watching Inspector Gadget, it's very distracting.
Next time, Gadget.
Yes.
Next time.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So, yeah, makes no sense. So, stabs Wanda. It was the Violator, but we don't know that. And he decides to kill everyone on Earth by killing Wynn at that point, saying he has nothing left. But he looks over and sees his daughter, who is his biological daughter in the film. Whereas in the comic, she was Terry and Wanda's daughter. I'm pretty certain she's...
Did they say that?
Isn't she pregnant in the first scenes?
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain she's his daughter. That's why he keeps interacting with her in the garden.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he realizes, oh shit, if I kill everyone on Earth, my daughter will die. I guess I won't.
Right.
And that's when he teleports the pacemaker out of.
Right.
At which point, I might add, he could have killed Wynn anyway.
Yes.
Because now the world's not going to die if he kills Wynn.
Yep.
But
instead they go down to hell. They jump into the fireplace. Him and Cagliostro jump down into the fireplace. They have a battle in hell where Spawn generates another amazing new power, which he can shoot green beams out of himself, which destroys other spawns.
It kills
in hell.
all the whole army of...
It's not the whole army.
Oh, right.
He kills a bunch of them.
Dozens of them.
Yeah, dozens of them. And then he's like, I'm getting out of here.
It's like, do you remember... Why does this happen? You know, why... This is kind of like... He never uses this power before or after, right?
No.
This is like... Do you remember at the end of Wonder Woman...
And also, what did it achieve?
With Gal Gadot, where Wonder Woman could suddenly shoot lightning and fly.
Oh, right.
And she never does it again. It's... Why can you only do it once?
Yeah. Why did they go to hell?
Yeah.
And why did they leave? What was the purpose?
Spawn can fly. Spawn flies out of hell.
Well, gravity's different down. So he can fly down there. That's fine.
He rescues Cagliostro, goes down with him.
Yeah.
Cagliostro, incidentally, just rocks up at this point and saves him from being, I think, killed by the Violator.
Yeah. That's right, because his throat had been cut.
Yes.
And he's like, heal yourself! And then he uses healing powers to heal himself.
Why did Cagliostro only arrive in the nick of time then? What was he doing all this time? Did he take the bus? I suppose he did.
Yeah. Yeah. The kid shows up too with the dog. He follows the dog to the house.
Yes. Yes, that's right. Zach. Incidentally, Zach's dad. There's this whole bit in the middle with Zach's dad where Zach's dad is like an abuser and Spawn tries to
beat him up,
but then Zach's like, that's my dad.
Yeah.
Zach's dad is played by a guy, he's called Michael Papajohn.
Okay.
He's going to be on the show again.
Okay.
First of all, he's in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. He is the nameless carjacker that kills Uncle Ben.
Whoa! Okay.
Yeah, the one that Spider-Man doesn't stop. Incidentally, remember who played Uncle Ben? It was Martin Sheen in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, in Amazing.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Amazing movies. That's why I was blank for like 10 minutes there.
He's also in Hulk. So this is his second appearance. In Hulk, he played Technician Number 5.
Wow, great catch.
Yeah, and he'll be back. He'll be in Jonah Hex.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Philippines connection.
Yeah, wow, okay, great. So they go down to hell, and I guess Spawn just tells Malbolgia off and then flies away. Is that the reason they went to hell?
I don't know. They went to hell to fight Violator.
Oh,
down
they
there.
fought Violator. That's right. They defeat Violator in hell.
In hell, yeah.
That's what happens. Got it.
Yep. Then they come back up.
So did Violator, like, escape to hell and they chased him down?
Pretty much,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. Okay.
Yeah. So
And he kills a bunch of them, not all of them. And then they come back through the fireplace and they crash land face first on the carpet in a living room. This is so weird. You want them to land in a hero pose, right? Like one knee down or something like that, and have a
the
pan up shot where they stand up and they're like a powerful.
bizarre choice.
To have them land
Because
face
this film's
first.
not funny. Like, this isn't played for laughs.
No, it's just like clumsy. It's just awkward and weird. But they think they're done. By the way, at this point, is Cagliostro wearing like chainmail?
Yes, he's put on. Yeah, he's wearing chainmail. He's put on a chainmail hood.
Right.
Because he's from the Kingdom of Saxony 500
Right.
years ago. I don't think there was a Kingdom of Saxony 500 years ago. There's a modern Kingdom of Saxony from like the 19th century.
Okay. But then, of course, Violator's still alive, and they have to fight in the house. And Spawn uses his armor to like rip his head apart and stuff, and then he melts like the T-1000 basically.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, and then the cops and the press show up at the house, and
Tell him the
Terry's
virus has been taken care of.
the viruses, they've all been destroyed. Martin Sheen's arrested. And then you can just sense the camera's going to go back to the alley. A little bit more voiceover. You can sense that the camera's going to pan up to the top of a church. And we're going to see our hero standing in the dark.
Hero pose, like
Daredevil,
by Frankenstein. Yeah.
by Frankenstein,
Yep.
Crow,
Yep.
Spider-Man, name it.
They're always brooding on the rooftop.
Brooding
at the
on
end
the
of film.
roof. If you're standing on a cross, even better, on top of it.
Oh, he is on a cross. Yeah, he's on a cross here.
Yeah. So the cape's going crazy, absolutely crazy in the scene, and roll credits after an hour and 30 minutes. Pretty short for a movie of this type,
Yes.
at least. There's 7 minutes credits.
With all the rushed exposition.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, do we have any more trivia that we haven't covered?
Yeah, there's a bit that I haven't covered. Okay, we'll start with the budget like we usually do. 40 to 45 million. I don't think that includes marketing, because at least a third of that figure of 40 to 45 million was spent on effects.
Right.
The box office, 87.9 million. That's not enough to turn a proper profit, especially since that figure probably doesn't include marketing.
Right.
So, a dud.
Right.
Originally the budget was only 20 million, but it got increased. Alright, the original cut of the film was given an R rating
Okay.
from the MPAA. Interestingly, they didn't tell them what for.
Okay.
I've read this in more than one place.
Okay.
I actually have an interview from a 97 interview with Dippé and another producer called Clint Goldman. They said, "We had to deal with very arcane and cloaked arguments over what's acceptable for kids." Dippé said, "It upsets me because the boundaries float very conveniently depending on who the parties involved are and the way the winds in this country blow. We make a film about a man who goes to hell and we can't say any blood." He also claims, "We can't even say the word hell."
Huh.
So we watched the unrated cut
Okay.
at the movie. The word hell is mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah.
But not many.
Oh, right.
Very infrequently, actually.
Yeah, right.
And apparently the PG-13 cut, no, they don't use the word hell in this movie about a guy that goes to hell.
Yeah, and is known as the Hell Spawn. Michael J. White said, I don't know how much to believe it, he said the MPAA was made up of clergy.
Yes.
At the time.
He said mostly clergy. They just did not. That's his. I mean, that might have just been exaggeration for effect.
True based on what I've seen. When I've seen interviews with the MPAA, I've never got the impression.
He said mostly clergy. I think perhaps he was being sarcastic. That they didn't like the hell tone. They didn't like the hell stuff. They wanted that hell stuff out. But the movie's about going to hell and demons and stuff. Wild. He said the MP Goldman said the producer. The MPAA would never tell us what scene or aspect of the film was too violent or extreme. They simply said that the overall movie merits an R rating. Therefore, as filmmakers, we had to make the cuts and decide what limitations to impose on our movie. One of those limitations was not to say, hell, that's just the way it is, you can't fight City Hall.
Strange.
As for Leguizamo, he, in an interview in 2020 for AV Club, he talked a bit about how he was improvising. Mark Dippé allowed me to improvise like crazy. I made up crazy amounts of dialogue, silly and grotesque and vulgar. It's mostly in the R-rated version of the director's cut, by which he means, I suppose, the unrated version. Not so much in the PG-13 release. Then he talked about the makeup. It was grueling. The first day of test makeup was 8 hours. I was under makeup for 8 hours before I hit the stage. Then we got it down to about 4 hours, but I had blisters on my face and calluses on my neck. Oh, it was brutal. I had to take breaks sometimes. I had to quit sometimes. I was like, I can't do this much longer. I'm feeling claustrophobic. I had giant contacts and fake giant teeth. I had a prosthetic head. Jeez. My whole face was covered up to my eyeballs. It would become too much, and they didn't have great cooling systems back then, so I was sweating up a storm. You would see water leaking out of my costume, and I wasn't urinating.
Oh, jeez.
That's just how much sweat was coming out. It was like a human condom. It was like wearing a human condom.
Jesus.
I don't know how... He's really short, like low to the ground. Do you think he's on his knees?
No.
Or is he... He's squatting?
Always standing with his legs splayed out.
Right, so he's like squatting.
No, like he's in like a Y pose.
He's much too low to the ground to be his natural height.
Yeah.
He's like 3 feet.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out how he did it, but you're right, his legs are wide, so perhaps he's... God, that must have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre.
But he looks really good.
Yes.
All the practical effects look really good. So the Spawn suit, the clown suit. Yeah. As for Michael Jai White's makeup, he needed 3 hours to get into his makeup every morning. So not quite as long, but still pretty...
Didn't he say, how many pieces did he say it was? 8 pieces?
He said the mask had 8 pieces, and that meant that he could emote when he had the mask on his face. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, how did it get made? So McFarlane early on was looking at making a film, of course. You know, this is one of the things he can do. Having founded Image, he has control of merchandise, he has control of licensing. There was some interest from Columbia, but McFarlane wanted some creative control. Again, that's on brand for him. And he ended up selling the rights to New Line for $1.
Wow, okay.
In exchange for merchandising rights. And some creative input.
Yeah, all that Spawn merch out there that people all those action figures, where are they?
Yeah. He said, what did he have to say about it? I could have sold the rights to Spawn early in the game with an A-list director and star, and maybe there would have been a lot more hype around it. But there would be things I couldn't live with. This is from an interview in '97 in LA Times. I'd hate to sit next to my parents at the premiere and have them say, wow, that was a great movie, what did you do for it? And all I can say is, I cashed a check. Strange that he mentions his parents. He goes on to say, the article went on to say, after walking out on a possible deal with Columbia Pictures in '92 that he felt denied him sufficient control, McFarlane negotiated an agreement with New Line, granting him executive producer credit, as well as veto power over cast, director, and writer, for $1, apparently. He also owns the film's merchandising. With me in control, you'll never get Spawn toothpaste, he said with a chuckle.
Okay.
But you get a lot of Spawn action figures, I guess. One thing that I was interested in was why haven't we got any Spawn sequels yet?
Okay,
Especially with the... especially with... everyone's trying to throw out comic book movies now.
Yeah, and Todd just won't shut up about it. As soon as this movie came out, he was like, I'm going to make it again. I'm going to get a remake.
Yes.
Like Hulk.
Yes. So it's like... Ever since the film came out, he just announces every year that it's coming out next year. I personally asked Michael Jai White a question about this at the Q&A before the film, and he made his, how'd you say, disdain for McFarlane very clear.
He was a kind of wry...
Yes, he was very funny, actually. Yeah. He was like, he says he's going to make another Spawn movie. He says, I don't know how he's going to do that because he hasn't even made one Spawn movie. Yeah. Because it was New Line that made the Spawn movie. Yeah. He says he's going to write and direct it. He's never written or directed any movies ever. This is what White is saying. And it was very funny. I chuckled. And sure enough, we hear buzz about it. Say, in 2017, for example, that a production company finally signed on after years of McFarlane saying it's coming out. Probably because of Deadpool, I'd say.
Right.
That's what made someone finally willing to put some money behind it, because Deadpool did so well.
Yeah, well, he wants it to be R-rated, right?
Yes, that's it, because he wants it to be R-rated. So, McFarlane is going to be the writer and director, though, right? So, Jamie Foxx apparently has expressed interest and has been attached at times, and Jeremy Renner was going to be in it too. I don't know what role he was going to play. Maybe Terry.
Yeah.
Since Terry's white now. It was supposed to start filming in 2018, but didn't.
Okay.
Then Joker comes out.
Right.
And restarts again. But it still hasn't materialised, and the hold-up appears to be the script.
Got it.
Which probably sucks.
Yeah.
It's been rewritten at least 3 times.
Okay.
In 2019, 2021, and 2022 by at least 5 different writers. So good luck with that, guys!
Wow.
Speaking of whitewashing characters, as I mentioned earlier, the Terry is a white guy in the movie, and Priest, who is a white woman, where it was Chapel, a black character in the comic book. So McFarlane has spoken about this extensively, including in letters, in response to letters in Spawn issues that were published at the time in 1997. But for example, in an interview he said, "This was based on the cold reality that if people perceived this as a black movie, there would be no way we would receive the $45 million we were after. Terry's skin colour has not been a major issue, but what Terry stands for is more important. Priest was put in because I didn't legally own the rights to Chapel." Okay, he just comes out and says it. "Every decision that I was directly involved in was based on what would appeal to the greatest number of people while at the same time not offending the core audience." He wrote that in Spawn 59 in 1997. Yeah. I read an article in the comic book archive.
Okay.
Which also quoted extensively from McFarlane's letters in his comics. He said again, if I stuck to my guns and put in Chapel, Terry, and Wanda, and Spawn, and it was perceived as a black movie, the movie still gets made, but they would probably only give us $20 million to make this movie. It could be argued from your point, is it better to have 4 black actors in a $20 million movie or a $47 million movie with only the lead actor being black? Okay.
Well, that sounds like classic Todd McFarlane equivocating.
Yes. Yep. He said, "In terms of selling out, somewhere along the line you have to play to the strengths and attitudes of the people you are dealing with, give them a product, and at the same time get what you want." Well, it doesn't sound like, what happened to all that art for the artists? See, this is, it's only been 5 years since you founded Image, and already you're indulging in management speak.
Yeah.
Great one. Great job, Todd. Great job.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I think I did read an article reevaluating Spawn in the wake of Black Panther. And and they were saying things like, Black Panther had an all-black cast that made like $1 jillion. Oh, gee, maybe they should have tried that. It's like, you could not have made Black Panther in 1997.
No,
Get out of here.
No, there's all sorts of steps you have to go through. The culture had to go through. It had to go through Blade, and it had to introduce
comic book
Black Panther in Civil War.
Yes, that's right.
Like, it had to go through it had to have the infrastructure of the Marvel Universe, and people already paying. It's like Todd McFarlane becoming famous through working on Spider-Man at Marvel Comics.
Exactly.
Spawn doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes out of Spider-Man at Marvel. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it for trivia.
Okay, let's vote.
Yep. Comic. No.
So bad.
I don't like these. I like the stuff that Alan Moore wrote.
Yeah. They're somewhat pretty, but I actually like his Spider-Man work more.
Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't really jive with me because it just feels really 90s.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be timeless beings out of hell, yet they dress like he dresses like something that Todd McFarlane drew in high school.
Yeah.
Like what a superhero costume looks like. It's basically like a Spider-Man kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Faust looks... it's very Faust.
It does have that weird obsessiveness about the artwork, like the obsessive rendering, which made it unique. Like, you had a view into this guy's head, like, this is what this guy's...
It's a mess. I mean,
the
story just makes no sense. I don't really understand.
It's pretty unreadable.
It's like pure luck. If he'd published this 5 years earlier or 5 years later, no one would have looked at it.
Yeah, 100%.
He just absolutely skating the zeitgeist. And that's why he sold millions of copies of Spawn.
Yep, absolutely. So big name for me as well. The movie, interesting. I saw this in 97 when it came out at the cinema. I remember not liking it, and then when they had the special screening at the Astro, I was like, oh, maybe this is a movie that I should reevaluate, like Flash Gordon. Maybe
The Crow. The Crow. I had no idea anything about. I'd always avoided it because I thought, we talked about it in the episode. I thought, this is the film that they cranked out after Brandon Lee died. I didn't know he's in almost all of it. I just thought, this is just that shit film that the studio's Necro posted or whatever. But then, of course, it's cool. I mean, it's awesome.
But watching this again, I was like, oh boy, like, this is rough. It's stupid. Everything is stupid.
Yes. It's a mess. Like, the plot is a total mess.
The plot is a mess, and then everything about it is so kiddie, like having the labeled CD and Martin Sheen's performance and everyone's performance and really is so...
Baroness, like, lurking around.
Yeah, oh yeah, everybody's so over the top and
wearing
weird
leather.
And,
at one point, she walks off, and she's in focus the whole time. Normally, you let her go out of focus, but she just and it's just her ass in leather.
Yeah.
And it's just off she goes. Oh, she's still walking. We're supposed to be waiting. They don't even pan away.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. Going for this PG-13 rating as well.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's, the clown Leguizamo being this kind of like goofy mask-like character instead of...
Everything about it's so derivative. Like, even Leguizamo, who is a good actor, trying to do his best, is really just trying to do
Jim Carrey
or Robin Williams.
Yes.
Or even to a certain extent, Jack Nicholson as the Joker is kind of why actors were going for these roles at this period in time.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, it's in the shadow of Batman. It's very Batman-y because nothing happens during the day.
Yeah.
Well, some stuff happens during the day.
Yeah.
Like when he visits the birthday party.
Yeah.
But it's almost all at night. There's a lot of alleys. He fights crime.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's bad. Okay, adaptation, which is something I hadn't really thought about before.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be a nay.
Okay.
And there are sort of two angles that I would like to approach it with. So, first of all, I think this fails as an adaptation because it makes no sense unless you know the comics. They really expected the comics to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I only understood the plot of the movie after I went back and read the comics.
Okay.
After we saw the movie.
Right.
The idea that, like, it's for, like, that maybe that Malebolger's not trying to cause an apocalypse per se, but he needs recruits for his army against heaven. I did not get that from the movie at all.
Okay.
But that's presumably the idea behind killing everyone on Earth.
Right.
To swell the ranks of
hell.
But, yeah, again, or why does L. Simmons behave the way he does? Why is he frozen for 5 years? All of this stuff.
Yeah.
An adaptation is not a counterpart to the comics, and that's kind of what this feels like. The other reason I'll quote from John Leguizamo from an interview he did with Screen Geek in October 2018. He said, this will make you laugh, the thing that Todd McFarlane brought to the comic book industry, which he saved in the early 1990s, was the edge, the darkness, the vulgarity, the violence, the crack. I think the movie would have profited from more violence, more vulgarity, and being darker. Let it be truer to the comics. I think he's got a point. I think this would have been a more solid adaptation if it had leaned into what people liked about the comic, which was this, but like, no R-rated comic book movie was going to do well in 1997.
I also think by 97 we're in a different edgelord zone than 92.
Oh yeah, sure.
The zeitgeist is different as well. I think the movie almost came out too late. If it come out in 93,
would it?
It might have been more in the zone, maybe.
Well, but it's lame. Like,
yeah, it's lame. I will say yes, I agree.
But also, it's lame in terms of it's not like what Alan Moore says, that we just strip out, purify.
Yeah, take out the imagination and the story.
Purify these other elements. We're just left with goofy ass violence and the edginess, edgelord stuff.
Yeah.
That's what people are coming for. That's what the 90s comics is like about. But this movie's not like that. There's no edgelord stuff in it at all. Instead, it's like shit effects.
Yeah.
Leguizamo channeling Jim Carrey and Michael Jai White doing not enough karate.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's a nay for me.
I would say, oh boy. Okay, I agree that it doesn't go as hard as the comic, and that's against it as an adaptation because it's not R-rated. It's this watered down PG-13. However, I will say, having read the comics first, the comics didn't make sense to me. I couldn't make sense of the mythology of why he was on it. Now, maybe I didn't read far enough, but it was taking so long for any data to come out about.
I think until you get to the Gaiman issue where Gaiman literally writes a handbook for angels hunting Hellspawn and explains it all.
Yes.
Here's what happens. It happens every 50 years. Here's what he does. He puts them on Earth. He gives them these powers. They have this suit. It takes them this long to learn how to do it. You have to get them at this point, and you have to attack them with this weapon in order to banish them. And he just laid it all out.
Yeah.
He's like, this is how you do it, Todd.
But I will say, having from the first 3 issues, I didn't understand the mythology, and I didn't understand the movie, so I don't think that's a strike against it. So I would feel, for me, I felt like the experience was pretty similar. So I'm going to go yay.
Cool.
Although I do think it's a weak, watered-down version of the comic, which is not good in the first place. Normally, I do think the tone is pretty close. Spawn mostly hangs out in alleys in the comic.
It's close in the sense that nothing makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm going to go yay, I think.
Cool.
Okay, please like, rate, review, subscribe, and share. You can contact us through the email address, which is in the show notes, or you can send us a DM or leave a comment on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube, or Reddit. And please join our Patreon at patreon.com/comicbookmovieoblivion, all one word. Once again, we went to the cinema to see this.
That's right.
Actually on the big screen, and paid for gas and all that stuff, and we need to pay for hosting fees, so every little bit helps. Please join, and also you will get our bonus podcast, Comic Book Movie Apocalypse, which is about comics adjacent media adaptations. Does that make sense? Okay, next week. I did not drop this on you like I usually do. Okay, we're going to do a movie which is either called Nejishiki or Screw Style or Wind Up Type from 1998.
Wow.
It's an adaptation of a very short underground comic called Nejishiki by Yoshiharu Tsuge, who passed away a few weeks ago. So this is going to be our RIP episode to him. He was one of the most, if not the most important figure in underground and alternative Japanese comics. I think he was about 90 or something when he passed away. So look for the title of the movie under any of those titles. The comic has been translated 3 or 4 times since the 70s. It's only 15 or 20 pages or something like that, but was hugely influential. And I think the most recent version came out in a collection from Drawn and Quarterly just a few years ago, so it shouldn't be too hard to find.
Before we go, I'll leave you with a short anecdote regarding John Leguizamo.
Okay.
So he's going to be back on the podcast.
In what?
He will be in Kick-Ass 2 if we ever get to it.
Oh, okay.
And also, I believe I saw him once in the LA International Airport it would have been June 2008.
Okay.
It looked like he was being ushered away from us through a priority gate.
Okay.
Pretty sure it was him. So, John, if you're listening, and you were at LAX in June 2008, write in and let me know.
Okay.